Somebody won the toss and deferred there. I saw that. I'll wait and see who it is. Appomattox is in their road blue jerseys, blue helmets with the silver A, silver numbers. A lot of guys wearing low black socks for Altavista on the other side. It's white jerseys, orange and black trim, white pants with no trim on it. And most guys have black socks to go along with the black and orange helmets. And the Colonels will kick off, and the Raiders will receive. So I believe Altavista won that toss and deferred. Oscar?
Difficult to tell from this angle, but you're absolutely right. That's been the MO. The Colonels have won probably the last 3 tosses, and that's exactly what they've done. They've deferred and going ahead and kicking off.
Well, that's a great feeling, when you're in the locker room. You know you can't lose when you don't lose the toss. I mean, that's the mentality that I think they've got anyways. Everything's going our way, including the coin toss. And nothing wrong with that. Altavista getting ready to bust through a little banner that the cheerleaders have provided for them. And Appomattox is going to do the same thing on their side here as we still got maybe a minute or so to go before kickoff here on the Subway pregame show. Of course, the Subway halftime show will follow the first 2 quarters. And then the postgame show will follow our game here, whether it's 4 quarters or overtime or what. Stick around for the whole thing. Appomattox finally comes out to a nice ovation from their fans. And like we said, things in the district very tight. Altavista's undefeated in the district. 7-1 overall. Of course, the one loss coming to James River. Appomattox 4-3 overall. 3-1 in the district. They lost their first 2 games of the year to 2 pretty good teams, Buckingham and Nottoway, and ran off 4 straight before losing to Dan River last week. So, you got to say Appomattox hasn't lost anybody. That's a pushover by any means.
No, they haven't. I'm going to ask you a question. Is this a trap game for the Colonels?
Well,
could they possibly be looking ahead to Dan River next week?
Well, I think that's an interesting point. You got the matchup next week with Dan River. Dan River's off this week, so they're going to be undefeated in the district coming into that game. I think it would be easy to look ahead. You're right, and I think that's where the coaching comes in. The good coaching of Mike Sharf. I think he's going to make sure his guys are ready for this one. But we'll see. I mean, I certainly think that would be human nature, although you got to believe the Colonel players have seen the film and know how good this Appomattox team is.
Well, I think that's a valid point as well. And I think for a young team that Coach Sharness and the rest of the staff has done a great job of keeping them, what I'm going to say is in the moment and week to week, playing those week-to-week moments and staying focused on the opponent's hands. So, again, great job by Coach Sharness and Dave Close and the rest of that group.
Yeah, and I think, on the other side for Coach Doug Smith, he's got that motivational element to play through to his guys as well because they lost the game. It's always nice to have a good bounce-back week and come back after a loss and get a win. And to get a win over a good team like Altavista would certainly be a good thing for the Appomattox Raiders. The Raiders are still, theoretically have a chance in this Dogwood District Championship. If they were to beat Altavista tonight and then go on and beat Gretna, they would still need some help because Altavista would then need to beat Dan River. But you never know. Kickoff is away from Walker Allen. It's going to be fielded on the 20-yard line. Taken up left sideline, spin move by the ball carrier there. He's hit by a couple Kerners, driving ahead, moving his feet. And it looks like number 6, Daquan Trent, maybe, or number 8, Rodriguez Glover. Oscar?
Looks like Rodriguez Glover.
Okay, yep.
So, nice returns. First and 10 from the 37-yard line.
Yeah, it was a good return, about a 17-yard pickup there, and he gained 5 of it with a couple of Colonels holding on to him there. Glover just kept churning the feet. Appomattox comes out, 2 wide outs, a tight end, 2 split backs in the backfield joining the quarterback. That's Dion Edwards. Breeze starts to pick up now, Oscar. See if it does play a factor. Altavista's got everybody up close. Option play to the left. Dion Edwards is hitting the backfield, not going to gain anything. He might have gained a yard. Timron Brown getting up off the pile. Juan Thornhill was in there as well. And I believe the first man on the scene was Darius Johnson.
Darius Johnson had him low. Timron got him high. They're going to mark that at the line of scrimmage. Certainly good spot for Appo on that play.
Yeah, it looked like they hit him in the backfield. Edwards did drive a little bit, though. Give him some credit. He didn't have any blockers. They'll line up and go from the same formation. Tight ends on the left side here. 2 wide outs either side. Left hash mark for Appomattox where they'll scrimmage on 2nd and 10. Snap. Edwards fakes to the left, then he goes right. Nothing there again. Timron Brown hit him again, and he gained nothing. That may have been a busted play, Oscar.
Well, it looked like he was expecting somebody to be there to hand the ball to, but
yeah.
He went left side first place, right side second place. Timron Brown there both times. Good reading of the play by Timron.
That's got to be disheartening for Edwards. You know, you're thinking, man, the same guy hit me on both sides. Which side's this guy playing on? Tight end is left again. 3rd and 10. Edwards surveys the defense. Now he gets under center. Low crouch. He'll pass. Left-handed thrower fires a bullet. Malback got in there to break it up, and it's incomplete. Boy, Malback got there at about the same time as Ferguson, I believe. And, man, Deion Edwards threw a fastball out there. Give Malback a lot of credit for breaking on that.
Boy, he looks like Michael Vick with that left hand. I mean, what a gun. And great timing by Michi to get there right at the time of the ball. Great play.
Cole Jamerson is back deep to kick in the punt formation for Appomattox. Michi Malback back deep to receive for the Colonel. He's got his heels on the 25-yard line. Appomattox got one wide guy in the punt, and Jamerson will roll to his right and give a booming kick. Great punt, one of the best we've seen all year. Michi's got to let this one go, and he gets a nice roll on top of it, going to get all the way down to the 12-yard line before it is down by the coverage team. Excellent kick right there from Cole Jamerson.
Yeah, Cole kind of did almost like a rugby-style kick. Took 3 or 4 steps to the side and got a little bit of a running start, punted nice, almost a knuckleball.
Yeah.
And when it hit, boy, it rolled. It's down at the 12-yard line.
He's been watching those guys on Saturdays do that rugby kick, and he figured out how to do it one day in practice. Actually, from judging from how good he kicked it, he's been working on it more than one day. That was booming. Altavista now. Under center, they'll go from the 12-yard line, middle of the field. Got a long way to go. 88 yards. Malback is going to go in motion. Thornhill's the quarterback. Hands it to Destin Brown. Brown's got some room up the middle, and then he's met. He might have gained 2. Didn't quite get it to the 15-yard line, Oscar.
Nice game by Destin. Good to see him back starting again.
Yeah, didn't get in the backfield any last week. He played some defense and made some very good plays on defense.
So just shy of the 15. They're going to call it gain of 3.
2 wide outs, 2 wide receivers to either side from Thornhill. Brown is to his right. Now he's going to move Malback over to the left. Thornhill's 5 yards deep in that shotgun. He's going to throw left. Throw was low, and they say it's caught. I thought it bounced, but they got a completion. And the ball is out now. Let's see who ends up with it. Nobody's signaling just yet. I think Altavista is going to retain possession. Pass was completed to Demetrius Johnson, I think, over there on that wide side. Boy, I thought that ball hit the ground, Oscar.
Boy, I do too, Kyle. It certainly looked like it bounced, and that was one break that the Colonel's got. In fact, the referees are meeting now to discuss what happened.
Yeah.
Also a break because one of the Appomattox Raiders corners broke on the ball and had pick 6 in his mind.
Yeah. Raiders really were very close to picking that ball off, and then if that defender did, there wouldn't have been anything standing between him and the end zone. You're going to say it's a first down pickup there for number 6, Demetrius Johnson. The ball did hit the ground on the tackle, but Altavista got it back. What Oscar and I was saying was we thought it hit the ground on the pass. I thought it was just going to be an incomplete pass. Thornhill's throw was pretty low out there, but they say it's complete. Fresh set of downs for Altavista. Thornhill's going to fake it and roll left. He got cut off. Now he's going to have to cut it back. Don't think he got back to the line of scrimmage. May have only lost about 1 or 2, though.
It looks like he's going to mark it right at the 26-yard line. They're going to give him a gain of 1, Kyle.
All right. Well, good job on Thornhill, because I didn't think he got out of the backfield.
I didn't either.
He must have stretched it out there at the end. Ball rests just beyond that 26-yard line. 2nd and 9 now. Thornhill talking things over with Destin Brown, who will line up right behind him. 3 wide receivers to the right here. Thornhill turns, hands it to Brown. Got a little bit of room up the middle, but it was tough clip. He couldn't get a whole lot. Appomattox has got a stunning defense. They're bringing a lot of pressure here. Brown brought down after a gain of 1.
Yeah, Brown was trying to find a hole, and there just absolutely wasn't one.
First 3rd down of the night for Altavista. 8:10 to go in this first quarter, brought to you by Apple Markets of Altavista. 0-0 is our score. Raiders had the football first. They went 3 and out, punted it away. Altavista's got a third down here. Thornhill's getting set. Moves Brown over to his right, pointing some things out. Now he wants Malback to go to the right. See if he rolls that way. He does. It was a low snap. Thornhill looking to pass. Chase out of the pocket. Got to get rid of it. Does complete to Malback on the sideline at the 43, and he caught it. Excellent play by Michi Malback.
That ball was about a yard out of bounds. Michi knew exactly where he was. Planted his feet, tiptoes on right short of the line. Great reception. Great vision by Juan Thornhill.
Absolutely. I don't know how Juan sees him when he's rolling out with all that pressure. But Malback was there, open, and like you said, the pass was out of bounds, but Dimitri's feet were not out of bounds. He caught it, and you could see him when he caught it, just to look down there just to make sure.
Well, gain of 17, nice play by the Colonels.
Absolutely.
And a good throw by Juan, and that ball was not going to be intercepted.
Yep. McLeese is the center. His last snap was a little bit low, but Thornhill scooped it off the ground, no problem. Juan fakes it to Destin Brown. He goes left side, got some room off left tackle, 40. Now he's at the 30, 35. He is gone. Juan Thornhill, touchdown, Altavista. Big run right there. Thornhill took off, and what a hole he had to work with, Oscar Briggs.
Well, he did, and that was all set up by the great ball fake
Yeah.
to Dustin coming out of the backfield. The Raiders slid over to the left side trying to protect that. Juan had a hole. He got a step, and you're not going to catch it.
Wow.
57 yards.
Impressive stuff right there on the carry for Juan Thornhill. Altavista up 6-0, extra point on the way. 7 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Thornhill's going to catch his breath before he squats down on a knee to hold this extra point for Walker Allen. Long run. We've seen Juan do that a bunch. 21st touchdown of the year. Snap is perfect. Hold looks good. Kick looks like it's right down Broadway. It is. Altavista leads 7-0. We'll take a quick time out here. 7:30 remains in the first quarter with the Altavista Colonels up a touchdown on 105.5 KD Country.
In the past century, our community has grown, and Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service has grown too, alongside the families they've known for so long. Finch & Finch is proud to have served you over 100 years. A family business, Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, dedicated to your service.
Finch & Finch Funeral Homes. We're here because we care.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels up 7-0 here early in the first quarter from Appomattox High School. Juan Thornhill, 57-yard touchdown run. Oscar, don't forget about the Sports Buffet podcast with Bob Alvis. You can get there from kdcountry.com. When is Bob going to interview Juan Thornhill?
Boy, it's overdue. We'll give him that. And Kyle, another typical Altavista drive. We've had them all year. 6 plays, 89 yards, 2 minutes, 21 seconds off the clock. And again, capped by, 2 big plays. The pass to Malback on the third down, and then the 57-yard touchdown by Juan Thornhill.
Yeah, excellent. And Altavista caught a couple breaks, before that on that second down play. The ball that we thought might have bounced in there to Demetrius Johnson, and then he fumbled at the end of the run. They got it back. But, Mike Sharness would probably say, hey, we're not going to apologize for the breaks. We're just going to take advantage of them. And that's what they did with a long Juan Thornhill touchdown run.
Well, and again, that was on the far side of the field.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good angle, but the refs are down there close, so it's a moot point at this junction.
Absolutely. And, you can't say even if the pass did bounce, Altavista could just pick up the third down. I mean, they picked up a third down on that drive anyway with that big Thornhill to Malback catch that we talked about. Walker out, going to kick it away. Kicks it deep, real deep. It looks like it's going to get by the ball carrier. That's number 10, Devin Trent. Now he's going up the middle, and he got brought down at the 16-yard line. Big hit right there. First man to make the contact.
Malback.
Was Dimitri Malback.
Yeah, he got him. That ball was picked up at the goal line. Got a good head of steam. Michi got him at the 15-yard line, and they're going to mark it at the 16.
Raiders will have a long field to work with here. They'll be middle of the field, going right to left, going back towards the softball field, away from the road if you've ever been to Appomattox here. It is a nice place to come watch a game, although it's not always nice to coach against them. Handoff now to pitch. Right side right there to number 30, and that's Marquise Kelso. Kelso is brought down hard in the backfield.
Great ball handling. Again, that's that veer ball handling we talked about that had the player stop. And, again, we thought it was a stop and it was pitched.
Yeah.
Great job by the Colonels stringing that play out. You let the linebackers get in, and they're going to mark it down as a loss of 2.
Yeah, it's the veer, it's option football. You got a lot of different things you can do, and that time was really just a true triple option. They faked to the first guy and then pitch it to Kelso coming around right in, but he couldn't get anything out of it. 2nd and 12 now. Edwards looking over that defense. Altavista's got a lot of guys packed in tight. Fake the handoff now. Edwards is going to go left side. Makes the first guy miss. He's not going to make the second guy miss. And the second guy was Mr. Juan Thornhill. I tell you, Juan does everything, even on defense, too. Good stop.
Nice stop. If Juan wouldn't have gotten it, I think he was going to turn the corner, and he was going to have 7 or 8 yards when the Colonels got to him.
Yeah, Juan turns it into a gain of 3. So it sets up 3rd and 9. And that's always nice when your safety comes up and can make a stop at the line of scrimmage like that, or for only a 1 or 2 yard gain. And Thornhill is still back deep at that safety spot. He's only about 7 yards deep. He's kind of like a linebacker right now. Maybe Edwards thinking pass. He turns, hands it off. The run is to Kelso. Kelso tries right side. He tried to go out wide on the sweep and didn't get much. He might have got 1.
Tackled by Juan Thornhill.
Go figure. Thornhill running that alley. I mean, he sees the plays as they develop. He's got great instincts, and he can tackle.
And a great job by the linebackers, again, stringing that up, and it gives Juan a chance.
Right.
Once the determination made that it is a run, they string them out, and Juan can come in and clean up.
Yeah, the linebackers and the D-line really prevented Kelso from turning that up, so he had to keep working it to the sideline, and that just gives Thornhill more time to get there as Appomattox will punt it away again. 4th and 6. Jamerson going to roll to his right again. Here's the big kick. He kicked it right. Ball back calling for a fair catch. Now he's just going to leave it alone. It landed on the 40. He got dangerously close to it, and it took a good Appomattox bounce. It's going to be downed on the 30-yard line. Colonels will start on their own 30 from the left hash mark. 5:05 remains in the first quarter. 7-0, Altavista. First quarter brought to you by Apple Markets of Altavista.
Nice punt by Jamerson, 46 yards on that. A lot of hang time. It's a little bit unconventional looking. Tim Ron Brown had a good run. Thought he was going to be able to get a hand on it, but the way that Jamerson runs and does that rugby-style kick, punt, you're not going to get your hand on it.
Yeah, you see it on Saturdays, but I don't know of very many people that do it in high school, so it is a little bit tougher. Empty backfield now for Thornhill. He's going to go right up the gut. Now he's going to bounce it outside. Had a man on his back, and he turned the corner on him. Got it all the way to the 40-yard line, and this should be enough for a first down before he's brought down. Tackle made by Kelso. Trent in there as well. And they're going to mark this short. Going to need about 2 more for a first down.
So it brings up second and 2. A lot of options here for the Colonels, Kyle.
Plenty of options. Thornhill's got a running back with him this time. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. The one to the right here is Jacob East. Had a big game last week. Thornhill will hand it off. Up the gut. Actually, left tackle there going to number 15, and it was Daquan Myers, I believe. I think it was Daquan.
It was Daquan, Kyle, and he got back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I may have given him a gain of about a foot. Thornhill's going to go under center here. Myers right behind him. Thornhill in a low crouch, dives ahead, looking for the QB sneak. I'm not sure that he got it, though.
I think they're going to mark it short as the line judge comes in from the other side.
Appomattox got a good surge up front and got some penetration, too. Normally, Thornhill, when he does that sneak, he's about 95% successful. Didn't gain a yard there, and they're going to say 4th and 1, and now Coach Sharn's going to call out the punt team.
Yeah, the Colonels were in a hurry trying to catch Appomattox off guard, and it just didn't work. Appomattox was prepared for it and stuffed Daquan.
Yeah. 41-yard line of Altavista. They're going to kick it away. It's certainly a place where field position says maybe you can go for it. But the Colonels are up 7-0. No point in taking any chances right now. And Appomattox wants to take a timeout. They didn't get some of their punt personnel out there that they wanted. We'll take one with them. Altavista leads 7-0 here. 3:19 to go in the first quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
English Construction Company has been in the building business since 1932, so it's only natural that they appreciate the building process. They recognize the fact that organized sports programs build character as well as bodies and minds. They know that high school sports build our youth into more well-rounded and more productive adults. English Construction Company is proud to be a sponsor of high school sports and salute all athletes, coaches, and teachers. A word of praise and encouragement from English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg, Virginia.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels lead 7-0. Just over 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. 50 years of award-winning high school sports coverage on 105.5 KD Country. Appomattox took a timeout before this Altavista fourth down, and I hope Appomattox didn't give the Colonels, at least for Appomattox' sake, I hope the Colonels didn't decide to end up going for this. I think you see Juan Thornhill out here. I think maybe Juan went back there in the huddle during the timeout and said, Coach, we can get it.
And Appomattox had their punt team out. Their Colonels are going for it, Kyle.
Raiders are shifting some guys around. They've got some guys back deep still. Thornhill's going to be in the shotgun. They went with the hard count, and Appomattox jumped. Excellent job right there, and some fantastic coaching from the Altavista Colonels. Great job. Officials don't even discuss this one. They just march off the 5 yards. Fresh set of downs for Altavista, and what a great way to get it. Don't even have to run a play there, Oscar. Raiders are still discombobulated. I don't think they got the personnel they want out there. Thornhill's going to go with the sneak. Gained about 1 or 2, tried to catch Appomattox by surprise because the Raiders' personnel was not set up.
They weren't ready. They're going to mark that at the 48-yard line. Call it a 3, Kyle.
Let's see what Thornhill does this time. He's going to be in the shotgun. Got Daquan Myers beside him. Ball back is in the slot left. Timron Brown in the other slot right. Thornhill wants to throw. Looking deep. Now he's going to throw across the middle. He's got Jacob East sliding at the 37-yard line complete. What a play right there for about a 10 or 12-yard gain there on the pass play.
Good coverage. Really good coverage. He went down, Juan threw the ball down low. East went down, slid, got it low. Nice reception.
Excellent play right there. And heady play by Thornhill to miss a little bit low with the pass, just so East doesn't take a hard hit over the middle. Hands it to Daquan Myers, and Myers got room left side. Flag. Myers is brought down after gaining 8. Let's see what the flag is. I'm guessing it's a hold or a block in the back. It's going to negate a pretty good run there from Daquan Myers. He ended up right on the 30-yard line.
Yeah, it was right in that hold area. Yeah, that's the call.
So we'll see where they spot it. See if it's a full 1st and 20. Go ahead.
And Kyle, a point that I was getting ready to make is that Altavista had 14 penalties last week against Nelson.
Yeah.
That's something that they've got to clean up.
Absolutely. No disrespect to Nelson, but against some of the better teams that they're going to play down the road and in the playoffs, 14 penalties is really going to hurt your chances of winning a ball game. Man in motion is Timron Brown. They hand it to him on the sweep. Brown's going to turn it up the middle. He's got some yards to run here, up the right side, not the middle. He might have got it back to the original line of scrimmage, which would give him a gain of 9 or 10.
They're going to mark it actually. They could probably gain him 11.
Wow.
2nd and 9. He was one player away from going to the house.
Yes, he was. Great looking play right there from Timron Brown on the wide receiver sweep. They put him in motion, snap it, and hand it to him. He doesn't even break stride. Tough play to stop. We've seen Altavista get away from that a little bit as the year's gone on. Andrews is in the backfield as a blocking back. Snap goes. Thornhill's going to try left side, cut off. Now he's stopped in the backfield. This is going to be a loss of 4. Good-looking play right there.
Warren stopped and was going to reverse his field, but Appomattox was there and wrapped him up.
Looked like Henderson on the tackle for a loss for the Raiders.
Brings up 3rd and 13.
Well, this is a long 3rd down. They picked up that other 3rd down with about a 16-yard pass play, so it's definitely something the Colonels are capable of. Thornhill in the shotgun, 2 receivers each side. Running back to his left is Myers. Myers picks up a nice block. Thornhill throwing over the middle. It hit the hands of Johnson, but he couldn't pull it in. He had some pressure there, and it would have been enough for the first down, but good defense from Appomattox.
Yeah, he heard footsteps because he had about a 4 or 5 yard cushion, but the Appomattox defender was bearing down on him.
Raiders were closing fast. It's going to bring up another punt situation for Altavista here. They're on the 40-yard line of Appomattox, but Andrews is back deep in the punt formation. Chicago Ferguson back deep to return for Appomattox. He's standing on the 9-yard line.
And he's a junior. I hate to see when he retires.
No kidding.
Or graduates.
Retires or graduates. I like that. Great basketball player is Ferguson. He's not going to get a chance to field this kick as Andrews kept it away from him. Good directional kicking there from Andrews, and it's down on the 15-yard line. So Andrews successful in the punting game again. Colonels lead 7-0. 38 seconds remain here in the first quarter. Colonels were only up 6-0 at the end of the first quarter in the game against Nelson last week, Oscar. Second quarter is where they really exploded.
And 38 seconds left. Colonels lead 7-0. Appomattox has had 2 possessions, Kyle, and have only got 5 yards total out of those 2 possessions. So great job by the Colonels controlling the clock and the Raiders.
Yep. 2 3-and-outs for the Altavista defense, and you heard the pregame show. Mike Revis wanted his defense to be a little bit mean. Appomattox has dropped that football on the ground, and I think Timron Brown has picked it up. Tried a pitch play, and it is Timron Brown on the recovery on defense at the 10-yard line. Altavista is going to have great field position after the fumble and the turnover by Appomattox. Edwards was trying the option to his left. Pitch never really got to its intended target, and Timron Brown fell on it for the Colonels.
And we talked pregame about the propensity of these type offenses. The ball's in the air a lot.
Yeah.
There's the first turnover for the Colonels.
Big pickup there from Timron Brown. It looked like the Raiders were going to have a little bit of a gain, too. Thornhill in the shotgun. Got a tight end and 3 receivers. He's rolling to his left. Destin Brown on the block. Thornhill to the left pylon. Touchdown. Altavista lead 13-0. Extra point on the way. Thornhill went in untouched, Oscar.
Boy, another great job by the offensive line, Kyle. They blew a hole and sealed everybody off and just gave him a lane. We could see it from here. There was nobody going to catch him.
The only guy that had a chance was wiped out of there by Destin Brown. Nice block by him from that tailback spot. And Juan Thornhill, really one of his easier touchdowns of the year from 10 yards out. That's his second one of the night. He's on to hold the Walker Allen extra point. Snap is back. Kick is up, and this one looks to be good as well. It is. Colonels lead 14-0 here. 26 seconds remain in the first quarter. Quick timeout with the Colonels on top by 2 touchdowns on 105.5 KD Country.
Installing Atrium vinyl replacement windows is like an investment in your home that can begin to pay dividends right away. You can save up to 30% or more on your home's heating and cooling costs. Add to your home's equity and add to its value by upgrading its looks and energy efficiency. Custom crafted Atrium vinyl replacement windows. Invest in your home's future with English's.
English's is your complete home center.
Business 29, Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
26 seconds remains in the first quarter here from Bragg Stadium in Appomattox. Altavista on top 14-0. Thornhill with touchdown runs of 10 yards and 57 yards. That last one, Oscar, was made possible by the Timron Brown fumble recovery.
Yeah, and, we questioned with the ball at the Appomattox 40 whether it was the right decision to punt the ball or go for it. They ran one play, and lo and behold, the Colonels get the ball and punch it in the next play. So, great decision by Coach Shaughnessy.
Absolutely, and a good directional kick from Cody Andrews to keep it away from the return guy. Walker Allen, 2 for 2 on extra points. He's on to kickoff now. And boy, Oscar, how about the Colonel defense? All they've done is a couple 3-and-outs and then a fumble recovery. Appomattox has run now 7 plays and gained, 5 yards, 6 yards, I think.
They were at 5, and then they lost 5 on that fumble, so
they're at 0.
They have no yards. Great job by the Colonels. Colonels have racked up 132 yards here in the first quarter.
Thornhill's got a lot of those on the ground. He's got a lot more passing as well. He's made two really good plays passing-wise, one to Malbeck on the right sideline here, and then one over the middle to East. Kick is on the way now, and it's a good one. Drops from the 10-yard line, fielded cleanly by Appomattox, and that's Glover, and Glover hit hard right there by, guess who, Michi Malbeck. Timron Brown was in the area, but Malbeck hit him up around the shoulders and just knocked him flat to the ground.
Yeah, he did, and threw up a cloud of dust. They're going to mark it at the 25. Great coverage. Coverage has been better tonight on kickoffs than they, I talked about it pregame, but it's been better tonight than it has the rest of the year.
No, you're absolutely right. I think the coverage has been great. We've even seen the Colonels at times go to that squib kick just so teams don't have a chance to return it. But when you're covering it like this, you can kick it deep all day. Appomattox, same formation, two receivers, a tight end, split backs. Edwards is under center. He's going to roll left, throws it over the middle. He's got a man there and just overthrew him just a little bit. It was Kendall Blankenship. He had a step on his guy over the middle. Really well-designed play, but the ball's incomplete, 2nd and 10.
And that step he had was on Juan Thornhill. Juan took an angle, and that was close because Juan, like I said, Juan took a little bit of a gamble, and it was close.
Yeah. Nice tight spiral from Dion Edwards there, and Blankenship was open. Man, he was streaking down the middle of that field in a big hurry, too.
Easy to see why those guys have racked up those kind of numbers.
Absolutely, yep. And Thornhill's been stepping up, committing to that run, so you knew Appomattox was going to try a pass over the middle at some point. 2nd and 10 for the Raiders. They hand it to Blankenship, and he's got some room. He does not have room because number 6, Demetrius Johnson, had a hand on the back of that jersey and just rode him to the ground just with that one hand, really.
Really strong play by him. And you mentioned earlier that Juan was packed up around 6 or 7 yards. He's backed off now. He's about 10 yards downfield now.
Well, when a team almost hits a long pass on you, I guess that's only human nature. First quarter is done here. Altavista leads 14-0 on 105.5 KD Country.
The game is brought to you by these members of the Altavista Sports Club.
Chef's Drive-In, serving hometown pride with 18 flavors of milkshakes.
Comfort Inn in Altavista, outdoor pool, and free hot breakfast with your stay.
Steve's Florist, best quality at the best price for all occasions.
El Cerrito Mexican Restaurant, authentic Mexican food, open 7 days a week.
Aubrey Rosser, attorney at law, Main Street, Altavista.
Piece of Pie Restaurant, Lower Broad Street, Altavista. Give peace a chance.
China Walk Super Buffet, American and Chinese food with the newest item, crab.
Perkins Twin Tire and Auto Service, your Michelin tire store.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Second quarter almost underway here from Appomattox County High School. Second quarter, of course, brought to you by Apple Markets in Altavista. 3 great locations. Main Street, Riverside, the Altavista Apple Market.
And Kyle, just some quick stats from the first quarter. The Colonels 90 yards on the ground, 42 through the air, a total of 132. And Appomattox, no yards on the ground, no passing. Colonels have shut them out. Great job defensively here in the first quarter.
Yep, they still haven't gained a yard yet because it's 3rd and 11. We'll see what the Appomattox offense can do here on their first play in the second quarter. Left hash mark. Edwards is going to keep it himself, I think. No, excuse me, he handed it to Kelso. Kelso is cut down at the 30-yard line. That's not going to be enough for the first down. He gained 6. Again, that backfield, with both those guys back in there and the fakes and the pitches, sometimes it's tough to see who has the football, but it was Kelso on the carry. Cut down on the left side. And another good stop from the Altavista defense, a 3 and out. Of course, you got to be careful here. Appomattox is in a punt formation, but they don't have to punt. Got the booming leg of Cole Jamerson back there, though. That rugby-style kick has worked well the first 2 times he's tried it. And he'll try it a third. Kicked away. Malbeck wants to field this one. He does. Got it on the 32-yard line. Stutter step, goes up the gut now. Left hash mark. He's made a couple guys miss, and Michi Malbeck might be gone. He's got to beat Jamerson, the punter, and he can't. Jamerson with a nice tackle there. Ball came out, but he was down. And wow.
Michi flipped it. He was stopped. He stopped twice on that play, and again, we talked about his acceleration. Holy cow.
Yeah, holy cow is right. Dimitri Malbeck had about 7 Raiders surrounding him, and somehow he got out of there. again, sometimes I call him the magician. Now you see him, now you don't. That was definitely one of those cases. Like you said, he was at a dead stop. He went from 0 to 60 in a big hurry. Couldn't beat Jamerson, though. Good job by the punter there to save the touchdown. Colonels have great field position now with Juan Thornhill. He'll hand it to Destin Brown. Brown got a man on his back. He can't get out of the backfield. It'll be a loss of 1. And it was Stoner White on the stop. 10:50 to go here in the first half. 2nd and 11. He did lose 1.
And Kyle, that was a 45-yard punt return from Meachie, and he was really disgusted with himself that he let the punter, Jamerson, catch him. Of course, Jamerson's a heck of an athlete. He's not just a punter. But Meachie was a little bit disgusted. He had a convoy with him. Jamerson did a great job of stopping him.
Yeah, Malbeck did have some blockers there once he got past that initial surge of Raider defenders. He's going to go deep behind Thornhill in motion, and they hand it to Malbeck. Turns it up off right tackle, and Malbeck is down to the 10, the 5, touchdown. Meachie Malbeck didn't get in on a punt return, Oscar, but he got in on the handoff. Colonels go up 20-0. Walker Allen on to try another extra point. Great touchdown from Dimitri Malbeck.
Boy, was that a reward for the punt return? And Coach Sharness just said, we're going to give him a shot. He went in motion. Great job by that offensive line on the right side, blowing a hole. Meachie just waltzed into the end zone. I guess I say waltz, probably about 10-1 speed.
No kidding. Malbeck, it looked like he was going to go outside. Then he turned it up right off tackle there. Excellent vision from Malbeck, and like you said, Coach Sharness rewards him with a great, rewards the great punt return with an extra carry there on offense, and Malbeck gets in for the rushing touchdown. Had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown last week. Get the offside here on Appomattox. That's why we had a little extra time to talk. Colonel's still going to go for 1. But it'll be a little bit closer now, 1.5 yards closer. Here's the snap. It's good. Hold looks good, too. Allen might have pushed the kick to the right a little bit, but he snuck it in the right upright there. He is a perfect 3 for 3. And the Colonels are up 21-0 here. 10:16 remaining in the first half. Altavista up 3 scores on 105.5 KD Country.
Enjoy daily lunch specials priced under $4 at El Cazador Restaurant. The people that first brought Mexican food to the area. Open all afternoon Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. Come by for Mexican or American food, all reasonably priced with drink specials and great service too. Voted Best Mexican Restaurant, El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, Main Street in Altavista. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant thanks you for your loyalty and your business and congratulates the Colonels on their winning season. And don't forget to stop by for the return of Little Elvis this Tuesday night. You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
21-0. Altavista leading. Dimitri Malbeck, after a big-time punt return that he almost scored on, they give it to him on 2nd down, and he scores then anyway.
We talked about special teams, the 45-yard punt return, and then 2 plays later, 15-yard drive. Took 16 seconds. They punched it in the end zone. Meachie's putting on a heck of a display here.
Yes, he is. You know, we've got the KD Country Instant Radio auction coming up October 27th. We'll talk a little bit more about it. You can get some great deals, but boy, Dimitri Malbeck's been able to do a little bit of everything. Maybe we should get him on the air in the auction. I'm sure he could sell some stuff too. He might sell popcorn here at halftime, for all we know. He has really put on a show tonight. He's been the first guy down on these kick coverage units as well. He's laid some serious hits on the Appomattox kick returners tonight, too. Allen set to go here. Got the ball teed up, smack dab in the middle of the field, and the kick is away. Kicks it right side. Malbeck is on his way down there. They go run a reverse on the kickoff. Appomattox does, and they've got some room down the left sideline here. Well-designed play, and Malbeck might have to make the tackle. He doesn't. I think it's Walker Allen over there on the tackle. Touchdown-saving tackle after the reverse from Appomattox. Hadn't seen that yet this year, Oscar, but a good time to bust out if you're the Raiders, and it works.
Yeah, it was. Meachie was on that right side where they kicked it to, and Walker Allen did make a tackle. Meachie was tracking him down, though. But again, great tackle by Walker.
Excellent play. We've seen Walker have to step in and make some touchdown-saving tackles before. Never something you want your kicker to do, but it's always nice to have him there. Best field position of the night here for the Raiders. They haven't gained much on the ground or the air. So let's see what they can do here with some better field position. Split backs again. Edwards hands it to Kelso. Kelso's got number 6 on his back, and that slowed him down just enough. That was Demetrius Johnson, slowed him down enough. He didn't make the tackle. Timron Brown did. Gain of 1.
Timron came flying in from his position, and if running back wouldn't have gone down, he'd have got flat. They're going to call it a gain of 1.
Yep.
Down at the 34.
Excellent play from Timron Brown, and give Demetrius Johnson a lot of credit. He didn't make the tackle, but he disrupted the play enough from that defensive end spot. 2nd and 9. Deion Edwards looking over that defense. He's a great runner. We haven't seen him do it much. Appomattox goes with a hard count. Edwards will run now up the gut, and he's got some room. Best run of the night so far. It'll be a 15-yard gain. They get all the way down to about the 16-yard line. And now we're seeing that Raider offense, Oscar, that we've heard a lot about. They're getting it going now.
Yeah, we talked about it, and you got to wonder if the Colonels are a little fatigued right now. But again, that potent Appomattox offense that we had talked about starting to crank up here, ball at this 17 or 18-yard line.
Well, you mentioned the fatigue, and you might be right because most of these guys play on that punt team that had the long run. Most of them play on the kickoff return team that had to run down Appomattox. Snap wasn't handled clean. Edwards did get it to the ball carrier. That was Blankenship. Blankenship did gain, we'll call it a gain of 4. And the officials are stopping play here for a second. Now we're set to go. They say it's a gain of 5. Had some equipment issues there with somebody from Altavista. 2nd and 5. Edwards runs over to the sideline, gets the play from the sideline. Now he's back in. The split backs are Kelso and Blankenship. They're both very quick. Now Edwards under center, fakes it, and flags come out, and the play is stopped. Edwards was going to go off the right side. Altavista's offside here.
That was Timron, and Timron got about a 4-step start trying to anticipate the call. He was just a split second off. I think this is the first time that I've seen the Colonels' defense really fly around the field like they have this year. I mean, they have been very, very aggressive trying to stop this veer. Great job so far, but the Raiders are now inside the 10-yard line.
Yep, Raiders have got some great field position now. Looks like it's 1st and goal from the 7. They haven't moved the stick yet. I thought it was. They're actually going to say it's 2nd and inches now. Okay. They didn't get enough for the first down after the penalty. 2nd and inches from the 7-yard line. They can get a first down here. Kelso's under center. Gives it to the first guy through, and that's Blankenship. Blankenship running hard, got hit at about the 5 and dragged the defenders another 2 yards. They're down to the 3, and they did get the first down. This will be 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Appomattox with by far their best drive of the night.
Yeah, set up by that big reverse.
Well, sometimes that's all it takes.
That's right.
I mean, they're down 21-0. Coach says, hey, let's run a little razzle-dazzle here in the kickoff, and it gets people going. First down here for the Raiders. They're knocking on the door from the 3. Edwards is going to take it right up the gut. He got stoned at the 1. They said he got in. He never went down. He got pushed back. Now the flags come out. It is a touchdown for Appomattox. Let's see if the penalty wipes it out.
It's going to be after the touchdown.
Yeah, it was about 3 or 4 flags came out. Somebody did something. So we'll call it 21-6 here. Appomattox will get a chance to try the extra point. Officials signaling to the Appomattox coach there was somebody, I think, on their side. Or no, maybe he's asking if he wants to have this on the kickoff. It is going to be a personal foul against Altavista. I think he was asking the coach if they want to do it on the kickoff or they want to do it right here. Penalties after the touchdown. And now Appomattox is going to set up in the muddle huddle polecat formation here on the extra point. They got all the linemen over here to the right. Holder and the kicker are directly behind the center, who's in the middle of the field. And let's see what they do. They are going to run a 2-point conversion. Option play. They pitch it to Blankenship. And no, excuse me, it's Jamerson. Jamerson's not going to get in the end zone. Altavista is pumped. Big stop there on the gadget formation. And the Colonels with a big stop there to prevent 2 points. Altavista still leads 21-6. We'll take a timeout here with 7:46 to go in the first half on 105.5 KD Country.
A short drive will save you money.
That's right. A short drive can save you hundreds, maybe thousands. The absolute best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Have a trade? When you make a deal, Fellers Chevrolet will pay it off, no matter how much you owe. Slow credit? Don't worry. Drive away today in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, if you didn't purchase your vehicle from Fellers Chevrolet, you paid too much for it.
Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
21-6, Colonels lead. Raiders cut into the lead a little bit, though, with the razzle-dazzle trick play on the kickoff, and then maybe Doug Smith decided it worked on the kickoff, so we'll try it on the two-point conversion. It does not work on the two-point conversion, however.
The line was set up to the right-hand side, probably 5-6 yards away from the ball. The whole offensive line except the center. Center snapped it back to the holder. The holder did a little pitch to the kicker on the left-hand side, and it was really 3-on-4. Appomattox trying to get to the end zone. The Colonel snuffed that. Of course, now the unnecessary roughness or penalty gives the kickoff to Appomattox at the Colonel's 45-yard line. And if you're out to this, you got to be looking at an onside kick here.
I think you've got to expect the onside kick. You know, if they kick it deep, you just let it go in the end zone and you take the touchback. I think you definitely do have to be concerned about the onside kick here.
I mean, worst case scenario, if it goes to 10 yards, the Colonels will take it over to 35, and that's not great field position.
Right. Well, let's see what Appomattox decides to do. They may just try and put this in the end zone here. Jamerson, who does the punting and try the two-point conversion there on the option, also the kicker. He does blast this one deep through the end zone. It lands right there on the back line of that end zone for a touchback. So Altavista will start on their own 20-yard line. Yeah, the extra point, it's a play that you've seen people do a lot. You put 7 or 8 of the offensive linemen to the right. You got the snapper in the middle, the holder, and the kicker right behind him, and then maybe one guy over there to the left, or maybe not at all. And, normally you check the other team's alignment. If you don't like the look they're giving you, you just shift back over and kick the extra point. But apparently Appomattox liked the look and decided to go for 2, but it was unsuccessful. Here comes Thornhill. Andrews a little late getting in off the sideline for the Colonels. He lines up in a tight end spot right. Ball back, going to go back deep again. They score on this play. Thornhill will keep it himself this time, and he got 1. Not much more. Ball back that time, just a diversion.
And this is where the Colonels have been strong this year, responding after the initial score from the other team. I don't know what the percentage is, but they've responded well just about in every one of these drives.
Yeah, the bounce-back drive, you're right, has been good to them. And I think it's a point of pride. You give up a touchdown, you want to come back and score another one. They've been very good at that.
And you don't want to give Appomattox this offense. You don't want to give them any momentum either, Kyle.
That's exactly right. You never want to give a team momentum, especially at home. And like you said, not an offense like this one from the Raiders. Thornhill in the shotgun. They're going to pull left guard, and he hands it off. The play was behind that pulling guard to the right.
Daquan Myers on this carry.
Yeah. Gained 1 or 2. Not much, though. It's going to set up 3rd and 7 now. Colonels have picked up some third downs already tonight. They've been successful. This offense really, for the most part, hadn't been stopped much. We'll see what Appomattox has got in store here on 3rd down. Thornhill has Daquan Myers beside him. He's giving the play to the guys over here to the left.
Colonels have had success throwing the ball.
Yep. Demetrius Johnson split out here to our side along with Timron Brown. Thornhill was looking to the left there, too. Got to get rid of it. He does get rid of it. He's got Brown completed to 40. Brown cuts it back. He's right at the numbers there. Brought down to 50. What a play from Juan Thornhill. Rolling to the left, which is his non-throwing side. And he just kind of jumps it up there almost like a little runner in basketball. He just kind of jumps up and flips it to Timron Brown.
He was almost out of bounds. That was his last option that he had. He did. He left his feet, did a little jump little push pass, and what an athletic play by Juan Thornhill.
Just when you think you've seen it all, Juan Thornhill does something else. He is just so savvy about holding on to that football. Most guys would have thrown it away long before that because Juan was really taking some serious pressure from the defense. But he holds on to it as long as he can, and then, like you said, almost going out of bounds, he gets rid of it. Hands it off this time to Dimitri Malback on first down. Malback's got about 5 yards, dragging some guys with him. He got more like 10 after that. The ball is over the first down marker. Let's see where they spot it. Good-looking play on first down.
And that was another. He was a step away from going to the house on that play.
Yeah.
That offensive line for the Colonels continues to just do an outstanding job.
Yep. Really just bulldozing people around. Teagarden and Ashton Robinson on the left side have been good tonight, as usual.
5-12. Colonels lead 21-6.
Colonels ran off 21 unanswered. Then Dion Edwards got in for a 3-yard score for Appomattox. Flag comes out now before the play. Looks like Altavista took too much time. Now they're calling it a timeout. Let's see if Coach Sharnis got the timeout before the flag came out. Officials are still talking it over. And they do wave off the flag, and they're going to give Altavista the timeout. We'll take one with them. 5:04 remaining here in the first half. Altavista on top, 21-6 on 105.5 KD Country.
Accidents happen. When your windshield is chipped, come to Apple Auto Glass, 2429 Ford Avenue. They'll repair your chip for $39.95. In shop, only $39.95. Apple Auto Glass and Mirrors, 2429 Ford Avenue, Lynchburg. Give them a call at 846-2753, 846-2753. That's 846-2753. Apple Auto Glass, proud sponsor of Altavista Sports. Football is a tradition, and so is Apple Auto Glass. Go Colonels.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
21-6, Altavista on top here from Bragg Stadium in Appomattox, Virginia. Colonels took a timeout there, Oscar, and really a heady play there by Coach Sharnis. He knew his team wasn't going to get the playoff in time, so he burns the timeout, and you get a chance to talk things over here on second and short.
I mean, you got second and less than a foot, and you got to wonder if the Colonels are going to try to strike here, try to look for the big play.
Well, that's normally what a lot of people like to do, second and short. Look to throw it deep or some kind of a touchdown scoring play, because if it doesn't work, you'll just have third and short. Split backs beside Juan Thornhill with 3 receivers, and you get some movement there on the left side. That was Clay Teagarden. See if Appomattox came over first. Officials are talking it over, so at least the Colonels have a chance to have this not be on them. And here's the call. It is on Altavista, legal procedure. False start. So makes it second and 5.5 now, as it was less than a yard to gain before that. So still a manageable second down, although another penalty you don't want if you're Altavista. Same formation, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, 2 backs in the backfield with Juan Thornhill. He hands it off to one of them. I believe it was Myers. Ball came out, and no whistle was blown. So this might be a turnover. Malback is trying to drag down the defender. He finally does. I think we all assumed that maybe Daquan Myers was down. Myers was the ball carrier, but there was no whistle, and Appomattox kept playing. So a big pickup there, and it was Kendall Thomas on the fumble recovery, and then he took it about 30 yards before he was finally dragged down.
Yeah, that was don't have the best angle. Looks like Daquan was down. Raiders again taking over on the 20-yard line.
Yep. Very hard to tell from up here. And, you know, if it was pros or college, you'd have the benefit of being able to go back and look at it. Of course, if it was pros or college, you would also have the game take about 30 or 45 minutes longer because of that. So it's a necessary evil.
And timeout on the field, injured player for the Colonels, Michi Malbeck, coming out. He's hanging his shoulder a little bit after that tackle.
Yeah, he was the guy that dragged Kendall Thomas down. Made a touchdown-saving tackle. Appomattox, 1st and 10. Their ball is loose now. It's on the ground. Dion Edwards had to fall on it. that one never really got back to him. Don't know if he pulled out early or maybe it was the center's fault. That'll go down as a loss of 3. And we've seen one turnover apiece for each team. Altavista cashed in on theirs. Let's see if Appomattox can capitalize on this mistake by the Colonels. 2nd and 13 from the right hash mark. Appomattox is near their sideline. They're going left to right. Edwards takes the snap and hands it to Blankenship. Blankenship goes around right tackle and tight end, and he's bouncing back and forth, cuts it back one time, sidestepping another guy, brought down. After a nice pickup, he got it to the 16-yard line. First down marker is on the 10-yard line, so that'll bring up 3rd and 6.
Nice run. Colonels were all over that, but he was able to find a hole and pick up the 8 yards.
Yeah, it looked like Altavista had it diagnosed pretty well, but Blankenship just kept the play alive with his feet. 3rd and 6 now. Same formation. They haven't gone to anything else. They hand it to Blankenship again. He tried left tackle this time. I think he's short. Let's see how short. It's going to depend on the spot. Now, I would think this is go-for-it territory here.
Yeah, they're marking that at the 13. It's going to be 4th and 3, and you're absolutely right. This is definitely go-for-it territory.
4th and 3. It could be any number of guys carrying this football here for Appomattox. That's one of the things that makes this offense tough to stop. Dion Edwards, the quarterback, is a great runner. And then he's got Blankenship and Kelso. The split backs in the backfield are also very good.
Ball back on the field for the Colonels.
Good sign for Altavista. Edwards going to keep it himself. Going to go right side. He's not going to get anything. He's actually going to lose a yard. Big time stop. And it's number 3, King Payne, on the stop in the backfield. Markel Payne.
Boy, great to see Markel bust through and make that play. Edwards had a little bit ahead of steam, but Markel was right there with him. Turnover on downs for the Colonels. Great stop. 2:55, Kyle. Colonels lead 21-6, and again, 2:55 left in the half.
Plenty of time to score for Altavista. Just under 3 minutes here. Subway halftime show to follow. Colonels lead 21-6. Markel Payne, the only guy last week that got 2 W's. The team beat Nelson County, and he won the homecoming exhibition. Thornhill's going to go off right tackle. Not much running room there. He's hit hard by a couple guys. Finally knocked down the backfield. Forward progress is going to give him about a yard. That clock will now roll under 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
And Appomattox defense is starting to come to life.
Yeah, the offense has looked better, and so is the defense. You're right. Coach Sharness has got a choice of options here, up 21-6, and Altavista gets the ball at halftime. You can be conservative and just go into the locker room, although you probably got to get at least 1 first down, I would think.
I think that's a good call, Kyle.
Or you can take chances and air it out. Thornhill's going to run left side after a fake spin move, runs out of 1 tackle, still on his feet, finally brought down. Looked like he was going to get a little bit more after the spin move. Good pickup, though.
I think he got about to the 20-yard line, gain of 5. It'll bring up about 3rd and 3. And you're absolutely right. The Colonels need this first down.
Yeah. Don't really want to give Appomattox the ball back before halftime. If you pick up this first down, then you can really, you could just run the clock out, or you could, take a chance and air it out maybe.
Even with a good punt, if the Colonels don't pick up this first down, you look at it probably midfield.
Yeah. Andrews and Destin Brown beside Juan Thornhill. Beachy Malbeck's going to go out to the right flat, still in motion as the snap is on the way. They swing it out, and Malbeck is on the block there. It was good first down pick up. Let's see who the pass is complete to. It's complete to number 4, Jacob Eaton.
Well, great job of Meachy coming back and picking up that block on that screen play.
Yeah. Excellent play there on the block from Malbeck, the pass from Thornhill, and the catch from East to pick up the first down. Timeout on the field. Altavista wants to talk things over. 1:22 to go in the half. Colonels lead 21-6 on 105.5 Katy Country.
For more than 103 years, we've offered special banking assistance to many nonprofit organizations. I'm Kathy Morgan with First National Bank, and we have a checking account just for nonprofits and faith-based organizations that has no minimum balance requirement and no monthly maintenance fee. We also specialize in offering financing when your group needs a loan. So come see us at First National Bank, and we'll provide your organization with an extraordinary customer experience. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Just under a minute and a half remains here in this second quarter, brought to you by Appomattox of Altavista. Colonels took a timeout there, Oscar. And I'm guessing that means they want to score here before halftime. I think if they wanted to go in the locker room, they wouldn't have taken the timeout. They would have just let the clock run. So Colonels are going to be aggressive here. Split back formation again from the shotgun. Maul back in motion again. They fake the east. They want Maul back deep. Thornhill's going to have to hurry, though, as he's brought down in the backfield. Stacked. It looked like Appomattox had the play diagnosed pretty well there. The pump fake the east. They're just working on that same play that they just used, except this time they fake it to east instead of throwing it to him. And it's a loss of 7. Now we'll see if this changes things. Altavista might just elect to go to halftime now.
Clock under a minute, and, you know, he had to split backfield, but really they were in tight with him.
Yeah.
For pass protection. They've done a good job of putting pressure on Juan, not letting him really air the ball out.
That's right. You think about the passes Juan has completed. It's been under heavy duress, and he's really had to run out of the pocket a lot. He'll go right up the gut this time on a run. Didn't get much. That Appomattox defense is starting to really tighten up and get stingy here. 30 seconds now remaining in the half. Gain of 0. Brings up 3rd and 17. I think now at this point Altavista would love to get in the locker room and talk about some things now. Clock now to 10 seconds. I don't think Altavista is even going to break the huddle here. Appomattox doesn't look like they want to call a timeout. So let's go to halftime, Oscar Briggs. Colonels lead 21-6. We'll take a timeout here and come back with the Subway halftime show on 105.5 KD Country.
In the past century, our community has grown, and Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service has grown too, alongside the families they've known for so long. Finch and Finch is proud to have served you over 100 years. A family business, Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, dedicated to your service.
Finch and Finch Funeral Homes. We're here because we care.
Enjoy daily lunch specials priced under $4 at El Cazador Restaurant. The people that first brought Mexican food to the area. Open all afternoon Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. Come by for Mexican or American food, all reasonably priced with drink specials and great service too. Voted Best Mexican Restaurant, El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, Main Street in Altavista. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant thanks you for your loyalty and your business and congratulates the Colonels on their winning season. And don't forget to stop by for the return of Little Elvis this Tuesday night.
English Construction Company has been in the building business since 1932, so it's only natural that they appreciate the building process. They recognize the fact that organized sports programs build character as well as bodies and minds. They know that high school sports build our youth into more well-rounded and more productive adults. English Construction Company is proud to be a sponsor of high school sports and salute all athletes, coaches, and teachers. A word of praise and encouragement from English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg, Virginia.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway halftime show on 105.5 KD Country. 50 years of outstanding high school sports coverage. And we couldn't be outstanding without Nick Bailey, who is always outstanding, never anything but outstanding, Oscar. And he's the all-time MVP, I believe. I think maybe we should just, when we do player, you know, you and I have gotten away from the Player of the Game award, which I know Bob Alvis would probably try and sue us or at least throw a snowball at us or something when January rolls around. But I think from now on, instead of just calling it the Player of the Game, let's call it the Nick Bailey, Eleanor Haney Player of the Game award.
We can do that, and you know, year to date, it's been difficult to do. I would personally have a hard time doing it. And, you know, it's a whole lot easier when you got 5 kids playing on a basketball court than it is with a football team. You know, you've got 11 going both ways. And again, some of them are the same, but, you know, 15, 16 players on the field. And again, I think we'd be hard pressed to have done it here today.
I agree. We'll put a 1 year hiatus on it. Not 1 year. We'll bring it back during basketball season. And Colonel's lead 21-6. Juan Thornhill with a 57-yard rushing touchdown, then a 10-yard rushing touchdown. Dimitri Malbeck in the second quarter ran for a 15-yard touchdown. Dion Edwards scored on the other side for the Appomattox Raiders, and that's the scoring so far, Austin.
Yeah, and we got some yardage stats, and we rolled them out in a little bit of extended half tonight as Appomattox doing their Hall of Fame initial Hall of Fame induction. And somebody that we know very well, the first inductee that they've announced is Jerry Connor. We all know him from London Downs, and a great golfer throughout the year. They just said in '76 he won with his high school career. He graduated in '76, but he won 17 individual titles in his high school career. And that's impressive.
That's very impressive because you only play 8 to 10 matches a year in high school golf, so you figure he was racking up a bunch of them there. And let me tell you the secret that a lot of people might not know about Jerry. We know he's a great golfer. They just announced that. Heck of a bowler, though. I promise you, I've seen him bowl. I actually bowl with him on Monday nights. I'll let that secret out of the bag, too. If you want to come watch us, you can. But, yeah, Jerry can bowl a little bit. And I'll tell you, getting back to the football game, Malbeck and Thornhill can do everything. Wouldn't shock me to see one of them out there on a Monday night rolling a 300 game because they're just incredible athletes. They just seems like they can do it all.
I don't know that, it takes me for words because just when you think you've seen it all, one of those guys does something that's just truly unbelievable. I've been keeping score at the scoreboard for the Colonels for 7 or 8 years, and I've been in the broadcast booth for a couple now. And, from any team, whether it be Gretna, whoever, these guys rival anything I've seen.
I agree. And I'll just make it my catchphrase from now on, since I've said it a few weeks in a row now. Scientists say 2/3 of the earth covered by water, the other third covered by Thornhill and Malbeck. And they are that impressive. Got a lot of guys helping out around them, though, and that O-line, again, tonight has been very good. Although, late in that second quarter there, it really looked like the momentum was swinging back to Appomattox.
Well, it really did. 14-0 in the first quarter, and then Altavista scored early in the second. Scored with like 10 minutes left, and after that, I would say it was absolutely all momentum shift to Appomattox. The ball stayed on their side of the field. Special teams plays, the fumble recovery. I would say the Colonels are lucky to be ahead by 15.
Yeah, it looked like maybe if you didn't know any better, when the Colonels raced out to that 21-0 lead, that it was going to be easy. You and I know a lot better. We knew that Appomattox had a lot of fight left in them. And at 21-6, they're still very much in this football game. We'll take a time out here on the Subway halftime show. Subway Eat Fresh. With about 15 minutes to go in halftime here before the start of the third quarter. Colonels lead 21-6 on 105.5 KD Country.
A short drive will save you money.
That's right. A short drive can save you hundreds, maybe thousands. The absolute best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Have a trade? When you make a deal, Feller Chevrolet will pay it off, no matter how much you owe. Slow credit? Don't worry. Drive away today in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, if you didn't purchase your vehicle from Feller Chevrolet, you paid too much for it.
Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
Installing Atrium vinyl replacement windows is like an investment in your home that can begin to pay dividends right away. You can save up to 30% or more on your home's heating and cooling costs. Add to your home's equity and add to its value by upgrading its looks and energy efficiency. Custom crafted Atrium vinyl replacement windows. Invest in your home's future with English's.
English's is your complete home center.
Business 29 Altavista.
Accidents happen. When your windshield is chipped, come to Apple Auto Glass, 2429 Ford Avenue. They'll repair your chip for $39.95. In shop, only $39.95. Apple Auto Glass and Mirrors, 2429 Ford Avenue, Lynchburg. Give them a call at 846-2753, 846-2753. That's 846-2753. Apple Auto Glass, proud sponsor of Altavista Sports. Football is a tradition, and so is Apple Auto Glass. Go Colonels.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
21-6, Altavista Colonels lead here as the halftime festivities continue at Appomattox. We get halftime festivities everywhere we go, Oscar, and I'm just glad we're not the focus of it. I hope they don't want us to go out there and do who's on first or something like that.
Homecoming last week for Altavista, Hall of Fame entries tonight for Appomattox, and next week it's senior night for the Colonels.
Yeah, and most of those senior night festivities, like you said earlier, they do before the game. But it's always fun to have some of this extra stuff. Juan Thornhill, 2 rushing touchdowns in the first half tonight. That gives him 22 on the year rushing. He's also thrown for 10 more. Dimitri Malbach got a touchdown. He's up to 11 touchdowns on the year for the Colonels. And boy, we talked about that defense, Oscar. Probably worth talking about them again. They've really held Appomattox to not much on the offensive end.
After the Colonels rolled up 132 yards in the first quarter against none for Appomattox, Altavista only 29 on the ground, 27 through the air for a total of 56 in that second quarter, Kyle. Total of 188 yards. The thing that sticks out to me really is you look at Appomattox. They had no yardage in the first quarter, and in the second quarter they had 37 yards rushing. 35 of that was on the drive after the reverse kickoff return. The fumble recovery, and they had the ball deep in Colonel territory. They only got 2 yards, and the Colonels were able to stop that. The defense stood up and able to stop that Appomattox drive, so the turnover didn't hurt them, unless you look at it from a momentum perspective. So 188 yards for the Colonels, 37 for Appomattox. Penalty yards, again, 4 penalties for the Colonels, 35 yards, only 1 for Appomattox. Both teams with 1 turnover.
Yeah, and I think the turnover, you mentioned it. I mean, Altavista looked like they were going to go on another one of their patented drives there, but then you turn it over, and Appomattox ends up not scoring as they turn it over on downs later on that drive. But then, like you said, maybe the momentum, and then you lose the time and the ability to score on your own end.
And we did talk about the bounce-back touchdown that the Colonels have been able to do in that drive where they had the ball at the 50, got it down to the 40, and then had a penalty. They knocked it back, and then the fumble that was a blind fumble, I'll call it, where he was down. Again, we couldn't see the ball come out, but, again, we were blocked. So, again, nice job by Appomattox, and Colonels were in trouble.
Yeah, and, I'm of the opinion on those questionable calls, those questionable fumbles, that in the course of the year, it's all going to equal out. You're going to have 1 or 2 where you were down that are called fumbles, and then you're going to have 1 or 2 where you weren't down there.
And it equals out tonight already. Altavista on the very first play of the game had that questionable reception. So again, boy, what a ball game! 21-6. Second half's going to be equally as good, I believe.
Yeah, still plenty of excitement in this one. I feel sure, because Appomattox really had the momentum there. Latter part of that second quarter. We'll see what adjustments both teams can make at halftime. We'll take another time out here on the Subway Halftime Show. Colonels up 21-6 over the Raiders from Appomattox on 105.5 KD Country.
Don't you think it's time that your business account made you money? I'm Marion Marshall with First National Bank, and we've introduced a small business interest checking account that earns your business interest. That's right, interest. So for a progressive small business checking account, come to First National Bank today. We'll show how your business account will earn interest, and we'll provide you with an extraordinary customer experience. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
In the past century, our community has grown, and Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service has grown too, alongside the families they've known for so long. Finch & Finch is proud to have served you over 100 years. A family business, Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, dedicated to your service.
Finch & Finch Funeral Homes. We're here because
English Construction Company has been in the building business since 1932, so it's only natural that they appreciate the building process. They recognize the fact that organized sports programs build character as well as bodies and minds. They know that high school sports build our youth into more well-rounded and more productive adults. English Construction Company is proud to be a sponsor of high school sports and salute all athletes, coaches, and teachers. A word of praise and encouragement from English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg, Virginia.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
21-6, Altavista on top on 105.5 KD Country. We are live here at beautiful Appomattox High School in Appomattox, Virginia. Very historic place if you've never been out here. A lot of cool things to see and do. And a lot of cool things to see and do here at halftime. One of the longer halftimes you and I have been a part of, Oscar.
It is. We've had some 15-minute halves and maybe a 17-minute. This one's scheduled for 20, so if you guys get tired of hearing us,
send your calls and letters to Brad Harper, Athletic Director at Appomattox High.
Boy, Brad, he's a class act. He, after coming over here from William Campbell, Brad met us at the door and just showed great hospitality. He got us some beverages, and what a class act.
Yeah. Most people, when they see us coming, they go the other way, they tuck their head and do the old, gosh, I hope these guys don't realize I'm the athletic director. But no, not Brad. He is a class act if there ever was one, and like you said, know him for his days at Appomattox and other places. And he's out here running the show here for this Appomattox Hall of Fame induction deal that they got going on. And the thing you and I talked about, Oscar, is the marching band is out there as well. I hope they don't think they're going to do their normal routine. They're going to have to do a pop number tonight, a little 3-minute song and get out, I hope.
Well,
Not that I don't want to hear it, I'm just saying,
They're starting into motion now,
okay.
so we may see a little bit of something from them.
All right.
And you talked about Brad. You got to believe that he drove this induction and got these people back together.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of famous people from the athletic world of Appomattox High School and their history. Had some old, had some young. Had a guy I played baseball with out there, Oscar. I'm not going to reveal what year that was in. I don't want Aaron Harris probably doesn't want me to reveal that, but he was a good baseball player. That was back in the day with guys like him and Brandon Vaughn out here. Appomattox has some good teams, but I digress. Let's talk football. What do you got?
Well, what do you think the keys are in the second half, Kyle? It looks like the momentum certainly switched to Appomattox here at the end of the first half. The Colonels do get the ball first. I think that they've got to be able to establish the ground game that they haven't really been able to do.
Yeah, outside of a few long runs that Thornhill broke, and of course the Dimitri Malbeck touchdown run, you're right, Altavista hasn't really moved the ball steadily on offense. I think that's something they want to, hadn't moved the ball with the run. They've moved the ball on offense. But they have had some bunch of plays there where Appomattox' D-line has cut them down in the backfield there, and that can't make Coach Sharnis a happy camper.
No, and Appomattox has done an outstanding job of putting pressure on Juan. He has not, with the exception of 2 passes, one was dropped. He's not been able to stand back in that pocket, and he's had to sprint out to either the left or the right, and he's had a ton of pressure on him. So despite the great job that the offensive line has done tonight, they're going to have to find a way to protect Juan if Colonels are going to throw the ball.
Yeah, I agree. You got to give the Appomattox D-line and those linebackers a lot of credit. They've been in that backfield a lot, disrupting the Altavista Colonels. Got a couple scores here. Oscar, Brookville on top 16-7 at halftime. That was a big one in the Seminole District in the city of Lynchburg there. They're taking on Heritage. William Campbell up 19-12 on Chatham at halftime. So we'll try and get some more scores going on. I believe it's Gretna and Nelson is the other Dogwood game. Try and get something from there.
Gretna is at Nelson, and the 19-12 William Campbell over Chatham. That's really not that surprising. Chatham's a grind the ball out. They grind the ball, run, and William Campbell's got some athletes too. We've seen them twice this year, and despite the success the Colonels have had against them, that football team is very capable despite their record.
Yeah, that's really a testament to how good the Dogwood District is. William Campbell hasn't won a game yet, and that's a very good football team. And on the other side, the Chatham Cavaliers were within a touchdown or a few minutes of beating Altavista, maybe less than a minute actually, when the Colonels finally did score that go-ahead touchdown. And then same deal against Gretna, and then they went to overtime against Sand River.
Yeah, they're 5 minutes away from having one loss, or being undefeated in the district. So again, like you said, the strength of the Dogwood continues to show, and I think tonight's a prime example.
Yes, this is a hard-fought game, Oscar, and a
great high school football game.
Absolutely. This is what any fan hopes for. I know it's 21-6, but it's a close game. It's a lot closer than that, and this second half is going to be pretty interesting. We'll take another time out here on the Subway Halftime Show. Marching bands on the field, and we're probably closing in on some football action here pretty shortly. Altavista on top, 21-6. Quick time out here on 105.5 KD Country.
Installing atrium vinyl replacement windows is like an investment in your home that can begin to pay dividends right away. You can save up to 30% or more on your home's heating and cooling costs. Add to your home's equity and add to its value by upgrading its looks and energy efficiency. Custom crafted atrium vinyl replacement windows. Invest in your home's future with English's.
English's is your complete home center.
Business 29, Altavista.
Enjoy daily lunch specials priced under $4 at El Cazador Restaurant. The people that first brought Mexican food to the area. Open all afternoon Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. Come by for Mexican or American food, all reasonably priced with drink specials and great service too. Voted Best Mexican Restaurant, El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, Main Street in Altavista. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant thanks you for your loyalty and your business and congratulates the Colonels on their winning season. And don't forget to stop by for the return of Little Elvis this Tuesday night.
A short drive will save you money.
That's right. A short drive can save you hundreds, maybe thousands. The absolute best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Have a trade? When you make a deal, Feller Chevrolet will pay it off, no matter how much you owe. Slow credit? Don't worry. Drive away today in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, if you didn't purchase your vehicle from Feller Chevrolet, you paid too much for it.
Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
21-6. Colonels on top. Subway halftime show. Subway Eat Fresh. They got the big sub, the party tray. If you're looking to feed a lot of people and keep a lot of people very happy, or if you just got 2 or 3 or 4 people with some pretty big appetites, you'll keep them happy as well, Oscar. And you're never going to be unhappy at Subway. That's for sure.
Not certainly with the Subways in Altavista. We talked earlier that we got to speak with Robert Duff, and they just really take care of you, and quality of the food's good, consistent.
Above and beyond the call of duty. That's what Robert Duff does there at the Subways in Altavista. 21-6. Dave Close, assistant coach for Altavista Colonels. He's going above and beyond the call of duty. He's above us right now up there in the eye in the sky. He's the O and D line coach for the Colonels. Does a great job. I'm sure he had a chat with his guys at halftime there about some things, moving the football, keeping the Raiders from moving the football too.
And Ryan Mitchell went up the steps before him and banged his head pretty hard.
Well, those trainers get called on a lot. It's usually for the players, but I guess sometimes it's for the coaches, right?
That's right. And getting back to the football game, the refs have reset the clock to 3 minutes. Appomattox out on the field. Colonels, as they've done all year, this last team out, taking this the halftime right to the limit.
Well, you get the time, you might as well use it, I guess. And they're trotting over there to their sideline. They're going to line up in the middle of the field and do some warm-ups, do some stretching.
And Kyle, I think that the long halftime probably favors the Colonels. They looked a little winded. They were really in scramble mode at the last half of the second quarter. So a little bit of extra time, a little bit of extra rest may benefit the Colonels. And, of course, they get the ball first, and hopefully they'll have a little bit fresher legs on them and get a little bit more distance. 21-6 is just not enough against this Raider team.
You're right. I really think you made a good point with the long halftime. It might help them. Appomattox had the momentum there, and look, maybe for a minute like Altavista might have punched themselves out. You know, they went up 21-0. They had a lot of momentum. Sometimes you get too high. You got to stay even keel. And then when Appomattox did the reverse on the kickoff return, which was a fantastic play and a great time to pull it too, when you need some momentum like that. It looked like, you know, it did suck a lot of the wind out of the Colonels there. So maybe you're right. Halftime was the best thing that could have happened to them possibly.
And again, I think that was, like you mentioned, it was a great call by Coach Smith on the previous kickoffs. Michi had been down and angled in from that wide out position. You know, he's right up against the sideline, and he's been the one that stopped the play once at the 15, once at the 20-yard line, and he took advantage of Michi's aggressiveness on that, and the Colonels didn't stay in their lanes, and lo and behold, the reverse, you know, led to the touchdown.
Yeah, it really did. That's the that's the great thing about those reverses, whether they're on a special teams play like that or just on offenses. You do tend to take advantage of a team's aggressiveness. You know, being aggressive is a great thing, but sometimes you can be over-aggressive and get burned by those reverse type of plays, and that's exactly what happened to the Colonels on that kickoff return, and it did lead to the touchdown. 21-6, Dion Edwards scored the touchdown on a 3-yard keeper for the Raiders.
And Kyle, not to make the point again, but the Colonels have held the Raiders to 37 yards. That's impressive.
Yeah, that is very impressive. This defense has done a great job. I mean, the one touchdown Appomattox did get was with a short field off the reverse on the kickoff. So you got to feel good if you're defensive coordinator Mike Revis. He said he wanted to have his guys play with a bit of a chip on their shoulder, play mean, not dirty or anything, but get mean out there and get aggressive. That's what Coach Shawn has told Dave Haney in the Subway post-game show, and I think the defense has done just that so far here.
I agree. I think they've done that, and I think that's one thing that's confused Appomattox, and they have not been able to really get that veer going. The runs have really been inside, not a lot of shifty ball handling. It's been really straight football that on that one drive where they're able to move the ball.
Yeah. Fantastic job again by Dave Haney on the interview with Coach Mike Sharness. He's great on those interviews. Those guys work well together, and I think that's Dave's niche. I don't think he has a niche. I think he's just good at everything. But you and I, we have niches. Guys like Dave Haney and Bob Alvin, they're just multifaceted.
Yeah, they really are. And, it's a pleasure to work with Dave. I've had that pleasure a couple of times. And, he's just so smooth that we can both learn a lot from him.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I've tried to, believe me, but my learning skills are getting diminished as I get older. Anyway, we're still talking because we're almost set to go. Both teams are done with their warm-ups. Altavista getting one final huddle in there. Not on the sideline. They're on the field. But now some of them are going to head over to the sideline there. And their kickoff return team will probably take the field. Appomattox is ready to take the field. Third quarter brought to you by Apple Markets of Altavista. 3 great locations to serve you. Don't forget, October 27th, Katy Country Instant Radio Auction. If you've never listened to it, it's just like eBay where you go on and bid for stuff, and if you're the high bidder, you win it, you pay for it, you come get it. Except we do it over the phone on the radio. We announce items and describe them. You call in. We take your bids. Winner walks home with some great stuff far below retail value.
Some great deals. In fact, I had somebody approach me at work today, and they've already got their eye on an item. Apparently there's a wine refrigerator or storage unit.
Yeah, that's right. I heard about that one too.
So somebody's got their eye on that at work. So
okay, exciting stuff already. Bid early, bid often. That's my motto. Appomattox is set for the kick now, and Altavista's got their return guys back deep. Thornhill and Malvac standing on about the 10-yard line. Appomattox still in the huddle. Referee hasn't put the ball in play just yet. Jamerson is the kicker for the Raiders. And almost ready for the whistle now. Now there it is. Jamerson will kick this ball away. at his leisure now. Altavista could use some momentum coming out of the locker room here. Kick is deep. Ballback's going to let it bounce on the 12-yard line. He fields it on the 10. Runs across field. Now he's going to cut it back to the right again. He's losing yards. He's going to get dropped on the 5-yard line. Not what you wanted from the return game there. Good coverage by the Raiders. Ballback was dancing, looking for a hole. It never materialized. And he got dropped at the 5-yard line.
Great job by the Appomattox kicking team staying in their lanes. Meach tried to dance to the left. He tried slow play. There was just nothing there. And once they were able to wrap him up, put him back at the 5-yard line.
95 yards to go for the Altavista Colonels. This would be one of their longer drives of the year, if not the longest. 3 receivers to Thornhill's right, a back to his left. He gives it to that back. That's Destin Brown. Good surge up front from the O-line. There wasn't really a hold there, but Brown just kind of ran up the back of one of his linemen and pushed him. Give it a gain of 1.
And good call, Kyle. There was really no hold developed, and Dustin just ran up the back of the offensive line.
Not a big gain there, though, but a good heart, good drive showed by Destin Brown there, just to get 1 out of it. He's in the backfield again. They're going to put Tim Ron Brown in motion. Snaps a little low. Thornhill going up the middle. Had some yards initially, and then he's dropped after a gain of 2. So the Appomattox D stingy again.
Boy, it looked like the hole was going to open up, and Juan was going to be able to get some positive yardage, but he only picked up about 3. They're going to call it 3rd and about 7.
10:50 remains here in the 3rd quarter. Altavista's first 2 plays from scrimmage there coming out of the locker room. And this will be their 3rd play. It's a 3rd down.
Got to get a first down to get out of the shadow of the goalpost.
Absolutely. 4 receivers. 3 of them are to Thornhill's left. Thornhill's going to throw left. He's got Maulback on the screen. Maulback's got some blocking. He's got the first down and about 2 yards extra. So a nice-looking play there. Flag comes out on the sideline late. This was even after Michi had gotten up. This may be on the sideline from Appomattox. I don't know what else it could be, Oscar.
They're discussing it, and
good solid block on the outside by Demetrius Johnson, but this was way after that happened.
And sideline 1 is exactly what that is. Kyle, great call.
Yep. So just a warning. The first one's just a warning. The flag still comes out. The second one's 15 yards, and I think the third one, the head coach is ejected, even if it's not on the head coach, which is sort of cruel. You could have some backup junior varsity holder out there could run into the ref, and the coach gets ejected for it, but that's the rule.
It is punitive, and here we are. You know, that's really the second sideline warning that Appomattox coaches had. Early in the first quarter, they had to push it back.
Yeah. Thornhill looking around, got his formation set the way he wants it, I think. Andrews is at a wing. Destin Brown's going to run behind Andrews. Brown's taking it outside. He's got 5. He's got 6. Then he's cut down. Nice tackle, knee high by the defender for the Raiders. But Brown got a good pickup of 6 yards before he got dropped.
Looked like that was Kevin Morgan. That was a very nice tackle. Destin had a head of steam. I thought he was going to break it for a big gain, but we'll take the 6-yarder.
Absolutely. Good-looking play around the right side there for Altavista. Colonels will scrimmage from that right hash mark. 2nd down, 4 yards to gain a new set. Brown in the backfield again with Thornhill. Andrews is there as well. Juan dropped it for a second, picked it up. Now he's going to the right side. Looks like he scrambled across that first down marker. We'll see where they spot it.
I think it's spot it right at the 29-yard line, closer to the 30. It's going to be a Colonel's first down. Juan dropped that ball almost. It didn't hit the ground, but it certainly came loose in his hands. Great play by Juan.
Yeah, the snap was right about knee high. Kind of bounced out of his hands, and I think he snatched it up before it hit the ground. You were right when you said he never really dropped it, but it was loose for a second. Fresh set of downs here for the Colonels. Far hash mark, going right to left now, going back towards the scoreboard and the softball field. Thornhill looks over that defense. Safety's only about 7 yards deep. Hands it to Destin Brown. Brown tried to cut back right side, didn't get anything. It's going to be a loss of at least 4, maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah, that was not a clean handoff at all. He tried to stick it in Dustin's gut, and it didn't look like the transaction was handled well. Lost a 4.
2nd and 14 now. Altavista looking to the sideline for that play. Whole team looks over there as it gets signaled in from Coach Sharnis. And sometimes Juan relays some extra information to everybody else. Demetrius Johnson split wide on this near side closer to us. Cornerback plays about 6 yards away from him. They're going to put them all back in motion. Half the line moved at one time. The other half did not move. Raiders came across, but I think this is going to go against Altavista. Ball start on Altavista, so it's going to back them up more. Brings up about 2nd and 19 now. Colonel's going in the wrong direction on the last 2 plays.
Again, it was a passing situation. Appomattox was coming. A little bit of stunting going on, and Altavista came up with illegal procedure.
Colonel's in a half huddle. About 8 guys in the huddle. The receivers stay out of it. Play looks like it's in and ready to go. Raiders look like they're showing blitz again. Ball back goes in motion to the left side of the formation. They hand it off to Dustin Brown. Brown's got a big seam up the gut. He's across the 50, now to the 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Dustin Brown is gone on the 2nd and long. Touchdown, Altavista Colonels. Dustin Brown, what a run.
Wow. And that handoff wasn't clean either. And again, great to have Dustin back healthy, back in the backfield again. Gives them that additional threat. Great touchdown by Dustin.
Wow. That's all I can say, Oscar, is wow. I think it's a 75-yard touchdown, if I'm not mistaken.
It's 80.
Okay. That's right. They lost another 5.
That's right.
80-yard touchdown run from Dustin Brown on 2nd and long. Busted through that Appomattox line. Once it got past the first level, there was nobody that could touch him. Low snap here on the extra point is scooped up by Thornhill, and Walker nails the extra point. He's 4 for 4 and looking impressive. 28-6. Altavista on top again with 7:30 to go in the 3rd quarter. Timeout here on 105.5 Katy Country.
Accidents happen. When your windshield is chipped, come to Apple Auto Glass, 2429 Ford Avenue. They'll repair your chip for $39.95. In shop, only $39.95. Apple Auto Glass and Mirrors, 2429 Ford Avenue, Lynchburg. Give them a call at 846-2753, 846-2753. That's 846-2753. Apple Auto Glass, proud sponsor of Altavista Sports. Football is a tradition, and so is Apple Auto Glass. Go Colonels.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Dustin Brown, another one of those super sophomores. Long touchdown, 80-yarder, puts Altavista up 28-6.
80-yard play for that, but the drive was 8 plays, 95 yards. It looked like the drive was going to stall out. The Colonels had gotten the first down up to the 30, a 5-yard loss, and then a 5-yard penalty. Great. Just another one of those athletes, like you said, the super sophomore. 4 minutes and 24 seconds on that drive after the start at the 5-yard line from the kickoff. So, again, 28-6, 7:31.
Yep, 95-yard touchdown drive, which, 80 of it was on one play, but still it's a 95-yard drive. It started from the 5-yard line. I think that's their longest of the year, and, that's the thing about bringing those blitzing linebackers like Appomattox has been doing. You stop a lot of plays in the backfield, but sometimes you make your defense one level. And, boy, once Brown beat that one level, it was off to the races and paid dirt. Kickoff now from Walker Allen. It's another good one, going to get fielded on the 10-yard line by Morgan. Morgan got up to the 29-yard line, and there was some serious contact in there. Timron Brown was involved in it, and so was Darius Johnson.
Sorry for the sound effects, but you could hear it up in the press box. That was a serious collision. Timron really lowered the hammer.
Absolutely. I think Darius Johnson ran through the block, and then Timron Brown ran through the ball carrier. Give both of those guys a lot of credit. Tag team effort there. Appomattox will start from the 30-yard line. It ends up being a decent return, 20 yards. And people are exiting the building now, but this game's far from over. Jerry Connor, one of those Hall of Fame inductees, he's got to go putt or do something, I guess. Hit the driving range.
He's got early tee times tomorrow at London Downs, I'm sure, so with no frost projected for tonight. So.
Yeah, it's getting cold, but you still got plenty of good golf weather out there. Appomattox is taking the timeout. We'll keep it here as we talk through some of it. I didn't even realize they called a timeout.
Player injured on the field.
Oh, okay. We're going to keep it here anyway. 7:25 remaining in the third quarter, 28-6. Destin Brown with the 80-yard touchdown. That's good to see because Destin hadn't scored in a while. But that does give him now, at this point, 9 touchdowns on the year. Pretty impressive numbers, especially when you consider Thornhill's got 22. Dimitri Malbach's got, like, what did I say, 11, I think?
11 or
so, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of scoring the Colonels have done. And then you got other guys that have a touchdown or two in there. East has got a couple.
Hawkins.
Yeah, so that's, we talked about, if you're averaging 40-some points a game, I guess you're going to have a lot of guys with a bunch of touchdown numbers. And now the Raider player's on his feet. Nice applause.
And that was a return. That was a return player, Kyle. And he had initially gotten up. He stumbled a little bit when he got up, but it looked like he was okay. But that was a violent collision.
It was, and those kickoffs are really where you see a lot of that. It's the good and bad part of football. Great action, but you can get some injuries. And like I said, Morgan had a blocker in front of him, but Darius Johnson ran through him. Timron Brown was right behind Darius, so I think that's why he never saw Timron Brown, He couldn't really protect himself. He did hold on to the football, though, and Appomattox will take over. Those scrimmage from the 30-yard line, right hash mark. Formation's changed a little bit. They got 3 backs in the backfield. Deion Edwards fakes it to one of them. Now he wants to throw. He's got time, throws a great spiral down the right sideline, falls incomplete. Nice coverage from Mr. Jacob Eats. He was looking for Cole Chambers.
Yeah, great job by Jacob. He got behind him and was turned up looking for the ball and didn't allow him to break open. The ball was right on the sideline. And again, great coverage by that Colonel's defense. The question I was getting ready to ask is if you're Appomattox and you started to pin the Colonel's back in an 80-yard run, does this take some wind out of yourselves?
Yeah, I think you've got to ask that question. You're right. Double tight end set now and 3 backs in the backfield with Deion Edwards. He hands it to one of them. I think it's Kelso. Kelso goes right side. Got a big pickup. Got across the 50-yard line. First down. It was Marquise Kelso, and that's a 20-yard pickup from him. Appomattox has also always got a Kelso hanging out somewhere, Oscar. There's been about 1 million of them, and they've all just been so doggone good, too.
Yeah, that was a great run. 22 yards on it pickup.
Fresh set of downs now for the Raiders. They're still on this near side hash mark, going away from the scoreboard. It's really more of a wing back, and then the 2 split backs that they've always had, but the double tight ends now is a little bit different. Edwards fakes it, running back, keeps it himself. He's got 3. Really followed that running back, just went right up his back.
Thornhill flying in on that play.
Juan Thornhill is not just a great quarterback, he's a great defender as well. He gets in on a lot of plays that maybe some other safeties wouldn't. Center is Stoner White for Appomattox. He's been doing a good job. Split backs and that wing back again for Edwards. Lineman moved for Appomattox, so this is going to set them back. It'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, we're looking right down the line of scrimmage on that, and he flinched. He stood up a little bit.
We got a great look right there. 48-yard line now is where this ball will get spotted. Both teams have had some hiccups there on the O-line as far as snap count issues go, going early, that kind of thing. Raiders huddle for a second. Now they break it, and they're ready to go. Same formation, 2 tight ends and 3 backs. Man is Kelso, and he was hitting the backfield there by Darius Johnson, but couldn't bring him down. Demetrius Johnson that couldn't bring him down.
Boy, Demetrius he's had his hands on a couple of people tonight, haven't been able to bring him down.
Demetrius was unblocked there, but couldn't haul the ball carrier in, and that was Kelso.
Still only a gain of 2 on the play.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, Demetrius, that happened a few other times. He didn't make the tackle, but he slowed the ball carrier down enough that the other defenders are going to get there eventually. Same formation, 3rd and 7.
Trailing 28-6. You're in 4-down territory.
Yep. Handoff goes to Blankenship. Blankenship turns the corner quick. He's got some room. He might be gone. Timron Brown and Jacob East are going to have to run him down. He's hit hard at the 4-yard line and hit out of bounds by Timron Brown. Big pickup, though, from Kendall Blankenship. 47-yard gain, 46-yard gain. Gets it all the way down to the doorstep. But Timron Brown and Jacob East managed to get him out of bounds. They say it's actually on the 5-yard line. Timron had a beat on him, and East was in hot pursuit as well. But, boy, Kendall Blankenship, when he turned that corner and hit that seam, man, he was quick.
He's got speed, too.
Absolutely. Same formation, double tight. Looks like 2 of them are on the right side here. Ball is on the turf. Edwards never got the snap. I think the Colonels might have it, and they do. Big roar from the Colonel sideline, and you called it, Oscar. That fumble recovered by Altavista. Don't know who grabbed it. Try and find that out.
I think it was Demetrius Johnson that shot that gap, and again the ball was on the ground. We wondered how Appomattox would respond. We saw how they responded. They got the ball down to the 5-yard line. That turnover may come back to haunt them.
Well, we talked about the momentum and how it swings. I mean, it's like a trampoline. First you're up and then you're down. Man, it looked like Appomattox was going to get a score and get right back in this football game. Now they turn it over. Altavista starts from the 5, which is where they started their last drive from, and that ended up being successful. So we'll see what happens here. Thornhill's got a back to each side again, a tight end and 2 receivers. Andrews stepped up a little bit. They hand it off to Destin Brown again. Brown shuffle step, goes left tackle, gained a yard or 2 before he's brought down. Tackled by Devin Dews.
Another Appomattox player down on the field injured.
We'll take a timeout this time. 5:20 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Altavista up 28-6 on 105.5 KD Country.
Hey football fans, good news from Altavista area Apple Markets. Check out these new in-store specials like Red Bull 8-ounce size 2 for $3.33 or a 4-pack $5.99 and a 24-pack of Coke only $5.99. Grab a box of chicken at Riverside or Main Street Apple Market locations. Chicken filet biscuit a bargain at $1.79. Apple Markets have great tasting chicken tenders too. Apple Market convenience stores at Gateway, Riverside, and Main Street in Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
28-6, Altavista Colonels on top. 5:20 remains here in the 3rd quarter. 3rd quarter brought to you by Apple Markets of Altavista. 3 great locations to serve you. And, boy, again, just to recap, Oscar, Colonels come out, go on a 95-yard drive, which featured the 80-yard touchdown run from Destin Brown. Then Appomattox gets the ball back. They go on a pretty steady drive of their own, a 45-plus yard run from Kendall Blankenship, gets it down to the 5, and then on the very next play they fumble and turn it over. They got a man hurt on the play. Excuse me, it was actually on Altavista's first play. Destin Brown carried it for 3 yards, and then we get this injury here, and that's what we're waiting on now. But, man, you just talk about that momentum. It's back and forth. Neither team really can get a firm grasp on it, though, but I feel like if Altavista can go on another long scoring drive here, then they really would have the momentum, and maybe for good, too.
Well, they would, and Appomattox certainly has a potent enough offense where they can score some points, but they're going to be time's going to start to be an issue with again 5:20 remaining in the 3rd quarter. If the Colonels can get another score, it's going to be difficult for Appomattox to come overmount a 28-29 point lead.
Yeah, and what we've seen from the Appomattox offense is, while very potent, not really a passing offense. That being said, I think we've definitely both been impressed with Dion Edwards' throw and his release and the tight spiral that he throws, although I don't think they've completed any passes. So that's maybe the problem you're going to get into if you're Appomattox. Dion Edwards does have 7 touchdowns on the year. He's completed 29 passes. On the other side, Juan Thornhill has completed 55. Heading into this game, he's completed at least at least 4 or 5 tonight. So you see a little bit of the discrepancy there as far as the passing numbers go.
Yeah, and this injury is, again, to an Appomattox player. They're going to, it sounds like they're going to transport. So,
yeah.
Thoughts and prayers will go out to him and his family as both athletic staff are taking care of him.
Yeah, we've seen already tonight a couple injuries, and it can be a dangerous game. That's just, like I said earlier, that's the good and the bad thing about football is the contact and the speed. It's very exciting, but it can get dangerous sometimes.
And both these teams, we've talked about it at length, are very, very athletic, and both teams flying around the ball. It's been a lot, hard contact so far.
Absolutely, a lot of great battles out there. As far as injuries go, Altavista has really been pretty fortunate this year. They've been dinged up. They've had a guy miss a game here, a game there, but not anything, knock on wood, season-ending or anything.
Well, and you look at when they have had the injuries, you've had, we had Destin a little nicked up, but, Jacob East stepped up. Hawkins has stepped up. Now Hawkins is hurt. Destin's back healthy again. The Colonels have been very, very fortunate that they haven't had anybody seriously injured so far this year.
Yeah, Ashton Robinson missed a game in there on the O-line, but they really didn't miss a beat when he was out. They continued to move the ball well, and we'll take another timeout here. We're going to let things get sorted out on the field as far as the injury timeout goes. Colonels lead 28-6, 5:20 remaining here in the third quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
I'm Todd Hall, president of First National Bank. For over 100 years, we have proudly served our customers in Central Virginia, and we're excited about continuing to provide financial solutions into the future. At First National Bank, our focus is on you, the customer, and delivering a very high level of service is our top priority. In fact, our employees are empowered to make decisions that provide you an extraordinary customer experience. So stop in one of our 8 local branches and give us a try. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
In the past century, our community has grown, and Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service has grown too, alongside the families they've known for so long. Finch & Finch is proud to have served you over 100 years. A family business, Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, dedicated to your service.
Finch & Finch Funeral Homes. We're here because we care.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
26, Altavista on top. About halfway through the third quarter, latter part of the third quarter here. Colonels went up 14-0 in the first quarter. Thornhill had 2 rushing touchdowns. Imran Brown picked up a fumble in there, and then Malback scored the first touchdown for Altavista in the third quarter. Deion Edwards scored on a quarterback keeper in the second quarter for Appomattox, and then Destin Brown with the 80-yard touchdown run is the only scoring we've had so far here in this third quarter, Oscar.
And Appomattox with 60 yards, 37 yards in the first half. They've already picked up 60 here in the third quarter. Turnovers, only the one turnover, the fumble by Appo at the 5-yard line.
Yeah, we're pretty sure it was Demetrius Johnson that scooped it up for Altavista on that fumble, this most recent fumble. But, it was on the quarterback-center exchange, and there's a big pile. We really have no way of knowing from our angle who picked it up for Altavista. And they're going to move some bleachers off the track here so we can get the ambulance out here for this injury. And call went out. And look at that. About 25 people springing into action. Now they don't need to remove them, so they're just going to hold off. But anyway, that'll give us some time to talk about some other things, Oscar. The instant radio auction. Let's get back to that, because that's coming up in 8 days. We'll get to talk about it some more next week. And, of course, if you listen to KD Country and get on the website, you can hear about all the great items. Check out the Altavista Journal for a list that's close to complete. But, again, we get an item. Let's say that wine rack thing you were talking about, a refrigerator, right? Yeah. So we get the item from whoever provides it, and then let's say you and I want it. I call up and bid $5, and you bid $6, and I bid $7. We go back and forth, and of course it's many people are encouraged to get in. It doesn't just have to be a two-man show.
No, we see 5, 60.
Right. Yeah, and it's always great when people are going in $1 increments, and then that other person calls up and just drops the hammer down and bumps it up 10 or 15 bucks. It's kind of like poker. You throw a big raise out there, and you hope everybody will back down. Sometimes it works.
And again, just a great variety of items. Really good stuff. Pennies on the dollar. I mean, yeah, unbelievable. And you get a lot of people that get on, and like you had mentioned last week, Christmas shopping, get a lot of merchandise for a little money, like you said, pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, we get a lot of great gift certificates from different restaurants and stuff, and it'll be a $20 or $30 gift certificate. You can bid on it and get it for far less than that. You might get it for half of that. It all depends on how much you're willing to bid. It's an auction, and the high bidder wins. And we encourage a lot of people to get in on it. And like you said, a lot of different items, something for everybody. Great place to do your Christmas shopping because you can knock out a bunch of people for a very small fee.
And you see a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people pick up a lot of merchandise. You don't have, most of the time, a person buys more than one piece of merchandise or one gift certificate or what have you.
Yeah, October 27th, that's next Saturday. Starts at 9 and goes to whenever. Whenever we get everything sold and out of there is when we leave. So we'll stay as long as you want. And again, we'll talk about it a little bit more, mention it in the post-game show here tonight, and of course we'll mention it next week.
And I believe Nick Bailey even goes on and does a lot of the descriptions. And,
oh, yeah.
He does a great job with that.
Well, like I said, he's our MVP. He can do it all. So why wouldn't we have him on there? We get it's a rotating cast that gets on there, which is kind of fun. Because you definitely need a large support staff. We got a bunch of people manning the phones.
And that's even fun.
Oh, yeah. You've done that. You're going to be on the air. You're going to be a feature analyst. I like to call them analysts. They're probably called auctioneers, technically, somewhere. Back in the day, we used to do it live out there at the Altavista Armory. That was fun, too.
Oh, I can imagine that.
You get the actual auctioneer guy. Those guys are cool. Anyway, back to football here. Altavista leads 28-6. We're not quite ready to play again yet. When we do, it'll be a 2nd and 8 for the Colonels from the 7-yard line. Still taking care of this injury as we haven't got an identification on who it is for Appomattox. But unfortunately, it is fairly serious as they brought the ambulance out here.
Right now, they're using the backboard, and they do have the gurney on the field. So, again, they're going to take every single precaution.
Yeah.
It's obviously the right thing to do.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It could be one of those deals where, hopefully it's not that bad, but you just take all the precautions, like you said. Back in our day, they just tell you to rub some dirt on it and get back in the game. Fortunately, people are a lot smarter than that now. And starting to get things other way. Got those other games in the area. We're trying to get some updates as we speak. Liberty High School on top over EC Glass. Brookville was leading at halftime over Heritage. William Campbell's up at halftime over Chatham. See if we can get a little bit more here as the night goes on. In our game, Altavista up 28-6. Colonels went up 21-0. Appomattox answered there in the second quarter. And the Colonels have done the only scoring here in this third quarter. Walker Allen is 4 for 4 on the extra point. And the Colonels' defense has been very good tonight, Oscar. We've talked about it a bunch, but worth talking about again.
Yeah, still Appomattox still under 100 yards. Like I said, 37 in the first half, 60 here in the second. And that was on that drive where they ended up fumbling the ball. So, yeah, again, the Colonels flying around on defense.
lot of that was on one play, too. Blankenship ran for the 45-yard pickup, got it all the way down to the 5-yard line. And, in hindsight, how big was Tim Ron Brown and Jacob East running him down? It looked like Blankenship was going to get in the end zone. Tim Ron and Jacob had a nice angle on him, and they managed to bring him down before the goal line. And then you have the fumble on the very next play, so it truly is a touchdown-saving tackle by those two guys.
Well, two big plays, really. The first play of the drive from the 29-yard line, there was a 22-yard run that put them on the side of the field. So they've had two big plays on this drive, or on the initial drive.
Well, they got the player up on the stretcher, and they're going to now they're getting over towards the ambulance. Good to see they're finally getting him moving and get the attention that he needs. Somewhere, both coaching staffs taking great interest in that, and that's always a good sportsmanlike thing to see. Coach Sharnes comes over there and checks on them. Both teams are going to do a little bit of stretching here and get loose again because it was a lengthy delay. You weren't at the James River game, Oscar, but we saw both teams at one point. There was such a long delay that they went in their little halftime stretching routine that they do as a team. Don't think we're going to see that here today. Well, we are going to kind of see that on the Altavista.
Yeah, the temperatures dropped probably 10, 12 degrees, 15 degrees since we started. So, a little bit of a breeze, and so I think it's good move by the officials to have these teams do a little bit of stretching and warming up.
Yeah, and the other thing I like to see is Casey McLeese and Juan Thornhill working on some snaps over there on the sideline, just because a lot of times these long breaks, and like you said, the temperature, you combine those two things. Sometimes your hands, you lose the feeling in there, and you lose the ability to do that ball handling that you used to on a normal night, or maybe a night when it's a little bit warmer when you're in the flow of things. And certainly that quarterback-center exchange is one of the most important things in football. If you don't have that, you can't get going.
And they can, McLeese and Juan continue to work on that.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's good to see. I think that's a very good move by the Colonel's coaching staff to have them do that, because it hadn't been as clean as it has been previously this year.
Yeah, it seemed like first 5 or 6 games, McLeese didn't do anything but snap it right to Juan's number every time. And then once I started mentioning how good he was, that's when he started to have a few hiccups. And tonight there's been 1 or 2 low ones. Nothing Altavista has lost. But, I always say for a center, better to miss low than over his head. At least if you bounce it back there to him, he's got a chance. Snap it over his head, he's got no chance.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. If he snaps it over Juan Thornhill's head, it's a disgusting snap, because Juan's got incredible wingspan, and he absolutely can get up.
I remember back in the day, here, as we still got some time, we have time for a story, but back in the day when Bob Alvis and I were doing some William Campbell games, it was William Campbell and Gretna, and it was a great ball game. William Campbell raced out to a big lead in the first half, and then Gretna came storming back. It was when Gretna was Double-A, and they had one of those long winning streaks. But I'm telling you, that night, their best play was the low snap to Vic Hall, because the ball would get there on the ground, and I think William Campbell's defenders would just forget about those responsibilities and go chasing after the ball that was on the ground. And Vic Hall, he'd just scoop it up, and he was gone for 50 or 60 yards, whether it was with his feet or with his arm. So sometimes that low snap's not the worst thing in the world. We're ready to go now. I shouldn't quite say that yet, but we're getting close. Appo's huddled on that sideline. Altavista has broken their huddle. And they're going to return to football action here from Appomattox High School. Thanks for staying with us through the delay. 28-6, Altavista's on top, and maybe that's what Appomattox needed to get some momentum back. Thornhill was under center. He handed it to Dustin Brown. Brown's got some room on the right side. First down, pushed out of bounds, and then tripped up once he does go out of bounds. Altavista went under center there, Oscar, so a little bit of a different look.
They went under center and snapped the ball relatively quickly. Appomattox didn't look like they were quite in position that they wanted to be.
Well, again, another really great coaching move from Mike Sharnes. It's just those little subtle things you have a long break like that, and he decides to switch it up and do something different that the Raiders haven't seen yet this game. They don't have time to adjust. Under center again, it's I formation. Gibbs to the fullback. First got through Daquan Myers. Myers gets 9 before he's tripped up. He almost had a little more, but he got turned around and couldn't really keep the feet going.
And that's another good call by Coach Shorness. We haven't seen that leading fullback take the ball. It's been Dustin, and we have seen Daquan a couple times, but he's been the sole setback. So, nice twist by Coach Shorness coming out of this drive.
Yep, they actually say Daquan stuck the ball out a little bit, got enough for first down yardage. It'll be a fresh set of downs. I formation again. This time it's an offset I. Myers, the fullback, he's offset to the left. They hand it to the tailback. That's Dustin Brown. Dustin Brown's got nothing this time. Good defensive stop. Maybe now Appomattox is starting to adjust to the I formation a little bit. Loss of 1. Blankenship on the stop. This has been a little bit of a change up here for Altavista. They've run some I formation this year, but not a whole lot. Normally when they get under center, it's that power I look with the double fullback.
In leading 28-6 with 4 minutes left, you got to believe that the Colonel's going to try to grind this thing out and keep the ball on the ground as much as possible to eat that clock.
Yep. Shotgun formation again. Bunch formation to the left here. Thornhill's going to run that way. Has to cut it back. He's hit hard and dragged down. Hit up around the helmet. I think Juan's wondering where his blockers were. He did gain 1, maybe put it back at the original line of scrimmage. It'll set up a 3rd and 10.
And they've done a good job with keeping Juan contained on those plays that start off horizontal. Again, Appomattox defense has again done a good job with that.
They have. Altavista's gotten some big plays, but I think you're right. The Raiders have, for the most part, done a nice job containing Juan Thornhill as a runner. Thornhill's going to pass this time. Swings it out to Maul back in the flat. Michi gets it back to the line of scrimmage. Ball came out, and Dimitri Malvac was definitely not down. The Raiders signaling they have the football. Wait for something from the ref. There it is. Officials agree with them. Turnover there on the Dimitri Malvac fumble. And there's that momentum trampoline again, bouncing back and forth. Appomattox has got it back now, and they've got the football back. They'll scrimmage from left hash mark 25-yard line of Altavista. So outstanding field position now.
And Michi was stopped, tried to jerk away from the player that had him around the waist, and when he did, he just jerked the ball, and it came out.
Yeah. Sometimes that's when the fumbles happen, when you're fighting for extra yardage. Can't really fault Michi Malvac for that, but the ball did come out. Handoff goes to Kelso, and Kelso's got some room outside, but Timron Brown got off of a block and just flattened the ball carrier. It looked like Timron was blocked successfully, but he just shed that block and made the tackle.
Yeah, that was a great play by Timron, and Timron's been the leader on defense tonight. We've called his name more than anybody. Him and Demetrius have been outstanding on defense tonight.
Absolutely. Wind picking up here at Appomattox, and it's a cool breeze, too. Don't know if it affects the passing game or the kicking game. Appomattox hasn't gone to the air much. They'll turn and hand it off to Blankenship. Same play to the other side. Blankenship is hit, gains about 1 before he stopped.
Well, Blankenship's impressed.
First guy off the pile was Darius Johnson. Flag comes out late. Now another one.
That second one was on Timron.
Well, you don't need that if you're Altavista. We saw that, I think, in that Chatham game where there was some stuff after the play, and then we saw it once or twice last week, and we've seen it once or twice
Don't know
this week.
Don't know who the first one was on, but we do know lead official Drumheller is not going to tolerate. He's not going to tolerate any of that.
Yeah, they're discussing it, talking about what's going on. I think the best thing you can hope for if you're Altavista is maybe it's an offsetting penalty, because I think you're right. One of these at least is on the Colonels. That second one, the official looked right in the Altavista defensive huddle and threw that flag up in the air. You know that second one was on them. Let's see about the first one. First one is against Appomattox, and the second one is against Altavista. So, just as I suggested, and then you get an unsportsmanlike against the Colonels after the fact. So, I think the first two will wipe each other out, and then the second one I think is going to go against Altavista. Haven't seen anybody stepping anything off just yet, though. They haven't picked the football up yet.
They're getting ready to. It looks like.
3rd and 7 is what it would have been. Here comes the yardage getting stepped off, and this will be an automatic first. And it may move this ball in
half the distance.
It's going to move it inside the 10, it looks like, or right at the 10-yard line. So it'll be 1st and goal from the 10. And Altavista had some penalties last week, had some tonight. Some you can avoid and some you can't. 2 minutes and 19 seconds to go in this third quarter. 1st and 10 Raiders, 28-6. Altavista leads in what has been a weird third quarter. Not much of a flow to it at all. See if Altavista can get a stop or maybe even another turnover down deep. Handoff goes to Blankenship. Blankenship hits the hole hard, close to the end zone, not in. Before he falls down, they spot this on the 3-yard line. Right there on the 2-point conversion mark.
I've been real impressed with him tonight. He's got speed, he's shifty, he runs with power.
My sources tell me Blankenship's father was a good quarterback back in the day. And Blankenship, the younger Blankenship, is a good running back. Edwards going to go ahead on the keeper. Great surge up front. He's in the end zone. As long as he held on to the football, it's a touchdown. And there's the signal. It's a touchdown, Raiders. 28-12. They've cut into the Altavista lead. And let's see if they're going to kick or go for 2. They went for 2 last time from the odd formation. The polecat formation is what some people call it. Looks like they're going to go from a more conventional formation this time on the extra point. Jamerson is the kicker. It looks like number 1, Kendall Blankenship, the hold. This would make it a 28-14 lead. Snap is a good one. Ball got down. Kick looks very good. And it is. And it makes our score 28-14. Altavista is still on top, but the Raiders have cut into the lead here with 1.5 minutes to go in the third quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
English Construction Company has been in the building business since 1932, so it's only natural that they appreciate the building process. They recognize the fact that organized sports programs build character as well as bodies and minds. They know that high school sports build our youth into more well-rounded and more productive adults. English Construction Company is proud to be a sponsor of high school sports and salute all athletes, coaches, and teachers. A word of praise and encouragement from English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg, Virginia.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
28-13. I said 28-14 earlier. Raiders missed their 2-point conversion try on their first touchdown. 28-13 is the score.
And Kyle, 3 plays, 25 yards. The double penalty against the Colonels certainly didn't help after the turnover on the fumble.
Yeah, this Raiders team has a lot of fight left in them, Oscar. It looked like Colonels went up 21-0 in the first half. Looked like maybe Altavista would run away with it. Appomattox came back. And the Colonels went up 28-6 and got some turnovers of their own. It looked like maybe they were going to run away with it. But now Appomattox has clawed back again.
Well, we talked about playing with a chip on your shoulder. It's got to be contained. You can't afford, when you had a situation where Appomattox had a personal foul, to respond and get a personal foul and then get an unsportsmanlike on top of it.
You're absolutely right. Like I said, we saw that some in the Chatham game, and it hurt the Colonels there. It's hurting the Colonels here. Appo ready to kick off. Jamerson does the kicking duties. Thornhill and Malback deep to return for Altavista. Thornhill's on the 15. Now he's going to move up to the 20, and they're going to try an onside kick. Fair catch called for by Darius Johnson, and it was an excellent play. He called for the fair catch and caught it. Some of those Appomattox guys were pretty close to interfering with his kick catch there, but he pulls it in. The onside kick is thwarted by the Colonels, and they'll start with great field position. from the 46-yard line, Oscar.
Yeah, I really wasn't looking for the onside on that play, but good call by Coach Smith. It's down 28-13.
Yeah, it was really a bold call, but give Darius Johnson a lot of credit for calmly just calling for the fair catch and then pulling it in. Very, very good play by him. Colonel receivers getting set out here as they're looking at their wristbands. Thornhill's going to throw, gets it out to Malback again. Same play we saw last time. Michi goes for right sideline, 9 yards. He stopped. Looks like he's close to the first down marker. This will depend on the spot. Got a very good spot. It will be a first down.
They've gone to that play more and more. That's the fourth or fifth time they've run it tonight. Only one time has it not been done for decent yardage. Of course, we did have the turnover.
Yeah.
But that seemed like it's solid as a first down.
First and 10, Colonels.
Colonels fresh set it down from the far hash mark. Under a minute to go in the third quarter. Now this may end up being the last play of the third quarter. Pulling guard. They hand it to the running back who follows him. Ball came out again. Fumble for Altavista. Now there is a whistle. The officials come in and say it's down. It was Daquan Myers on the carry. The Appomattox fans do not like it, but I think it was the right call. It would have ended up in a scoop and score touchdown for the Raiders.
Yeah, it would, but the whistle was blown. Whether he was down or not is not a point at this, because, again, they did blow the whistle down.
Well, Appomattox fans, again, they really do not like it. And we've mentioned it. If you got the benefit of replay, you can go back and look at all these and see what's a fumble and what's not. But we don't have that benefit. And Altavista's they've been burned by that already tonight, and they've been helped by that already tonight, I think.
Far and away the worst ball handling the Colonels have had this year. Ball handling night.
Agree. Whether you're down or not, you don't want that football bouncing around. You don't want to give the officials a chance to call it. Thornhill's flushed out of the pocket. He wanted to pass. He is going to pass. Throws it deep. Malback leaps. Had his fingertips on it, but it got knocked away by a Raider defender. Good play by the Raiders defense, and they'll bring up 3rd and 11. Again, heavy pressure on Thornhill. He had to get out of the pocket in a hurry that time.
Again, the exchange between him and McLeese wasn't a good snap. Juan lost a little bit of time corralling the ball.
He did. The snap was a little bit low. He had to take a little extra time, but that pressure was coming. I give him a lot of credit for getting up a good pass. Play comes in from the sideline. Juan went all the way over there to the sideline. Didn't just take the signal like normal.
17 seconds, Kyle. Colonels lead 28-13 here in the third quarter.
Colonels they're taking a little time getting this play in. There's the shotgun snap. Thornhill rolls out again, steps up in the pocket. He's going to take off on the scramble this time. He's got 8 yards. He's got 9. He had a man on him, and he got knocked down, but he lunged over that first down marker. Great extra effort there from Juan Thornhill to pick up the 3rd down.
Boy, did he get the spot is right. They are going to call a first down.
It looked like the spot wasn't as good as we thought it was going to be, but it was still enough for the third down pickup. And it's enough for the third quarter, as we're out of time in the third quarter. 12 minutes of regulation football to play. Altavista up 28-13 on 105.5 KD Country.
The game is brought to you by these members of the Altavista Sports Club.
Chef's Drive-In, serving hometown pride with 18 flavors of milkshakes.
Comfort Inn in Altavista. Outdoor pool and free hot breakfast with your stay.
Steve's Florist, best quality at the best price for all occasions.
El Cerrito Mexican Restaurant, authentic Mexican food. Open 7 days a week.
Aubrey Rosser, attorney at law, Main Street, Altavista.
Peace of Pie Restaurant, Lower Broad Street, Altavista. Give peace a chance.
China Walk Super Buffet, American and Chinese food with the newest item, crab.
Perkins Twin Tire and Auto Service, your Michelin tire store.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
28-13, 1 quarter of football remains, at least in regulation anyway, Oscar, and I think we're shaping up for one of the better fourth quarters that we've seen all year.
Yeah, it's back and forth. Again, you said earlier, not a lot of flow to the game. both teams, I think, would tell you that they hadn't been as careful with the football as they should have been. But, again, it's great football. Both teams going back and forth.
Yeah, the start, when we were headed into that fourth quarter at Gretna in that game, we knew that was going to be a really good one. The game at Chatham was a very close fourth quarter. I think this one could be just as good as those. Empty backfield for Juan Thornhill. He'll go right up the gut. He followed Andrews in there. Didn't get a whole lot. Maybe one or two. Didn't lose yards, though. Yeah, they give him about 2. Colonel's up 28-14. They've been on top all game. Biggest lead was 21-0 to start.
Yeah, they did get off to a fast start. 14-0 after the first, and then it scored early on the Malback touchdown in the second quarter, and then it's been a battle since then.
It really has been. Appomattox gave up some initial scores early. Since then, they're right in the thick of it. Same formation, empty backfield again. They put Destin Brown in motion. Juan fakes it to him. He takes off right side. He's got some room along the sideline. Nice block from Jacob East to free him up before he ran out of bounds.
We're going to mark that at the 18. It's a game of 16. Really one of the, besides the touchdown, great run by Juan. Great ball deception as he faked the handoff to Dustin, and that really had the defense from Appomattox flowing the other direction.
Yeah, froze Appomattox just enough to get some space there. Excellent play from Juan Thornhill, and he had a good block from Jacob East. Dimitri Malback taking the play in. The O-line hurries up and gets set pretty quick. Destin Brown on the wing. Cody Andrews on the wing. Empty backfield. Juan lost the football, and he's got a fall on it. Snap wasn't that bad. I think Thornhill just took his eye off it for a second. Going to go as a loss of 5. Thornhill's a little slow getting up, too, and I think that's really when you hold your breath if you're an Altavista fan.
Yeah, Juan fell on the ball, and he may have actually fallen on it in his stomach, and then the Appomattox player was trying to recover the play. Dove on top, trying to get the ball. Good play by him.
Yeah. Altavista's subbing some linemen in there. Alex Thurman checked out. Tyler Coffer checked in. Coffer's at right tackle. William Martin is at right guard. Thornhill's got the same formation, empty backfield. Now he wants to throw. Decent pocket to throw from. Heaves it up for Malback at the pylon. Malback could not bring it in. It's incomplete. The coverage was decent. It was one-on-one. Juan Thornhill took a shot deep. It was a good-looking pass. Just couldn't haul it in.
And you got to believe from the set that was what they were trying to do on the previous play.
So this will bring up 3rd and long. Altavista, they can pick this up with a run or a pass.
3rd and right at 16, Kyle.
I don't know what your play call is if you're Coach Sharns, because you're up 2 scores. So it's not like you have to throw the ball.
You're just about on the edge of Walker Allen field goal.
Right. Destin Brown in motion again. This time they give it to him on the sweep. He's got 4 or 5, and he's cut down right at the left hash mark. He got hit hard. He'll bounce right back up, though. Certainly not enough for the first down. Might have got it close to the original line of scrimmage. Now Coach Sharns has got some decisions. It would be a long Walker Allen field goal. It's 4th and 12. You're not going to punt right here, though, as Altavista is on the 23-yard line of Appomattox. Call it 4th and 13 officially. Same formation. Thornhill's got an empty backfield. See if Altavista goes to the hard snap count again. Brown in motion. Thornhill goes right up the middle. Not going to get anything. Didn't even pick up a yard. Big stop there from the Appomattox defense. And they'll take over on their own 23-yard line.
That play just has not paid off. Appomattox has been all over that all night.
9:36 remains in the football game. See if that number ends up being important later on as this game goes on. Appomattox would have to score twice,
which they can do quickly.
Yep. They can do it with a run or a pass themselves. Going from that tight formation again with a wing back. and two other running backs. They hand it to Blankenship. Blankenship reverses it. It looked like he had room out to the left side, but he ended up cutting back to the right and got stopped, a gain of 1.
Yeah, Blankenship did a 360 on that. I mean, he's a talented athlete.
Yeah.
They're going to call it a gain of 1.
Gain of 1. It was a sweep designed to go left. After he gained about a yard, he completely spun around, took it back to the right. It looked like if he would have stayed left, he would have actually got 4 yards. But hindsight is 50-50 or 20-20, whichever way you want to slice it.
Good pursuit by the Colonels on that play as well.
Absolutely. Tight formation again. 2 tight ends, a wing back, and 2 running backs. Passing play from Edwards. He's got all day back there, but he held on too long and threw it away. Let's see if this is grounding. He was in the grasp of the Johnson brothers. Johnson and Johnson met up in the Appomattox backfield again. Appomattox sideline in fans taking some issue with something I think the Johnsons did on the tackle there.
Yeah, they did take exception with something that happened when the Appomattox quarterback, when Edwards was on the ground. But again, it brings up 3rd and 9.
3rd and 9, yeah. It ends up going as an incomplete pass. I thought maybe it was going to be an intentional grounding situation, but it wasn't. The pass got far enough, and I think there might have even been somebody in the area. See what Appomattox does here. Hard snap count. Somebody moves in the backfield. No flag comes down, though. They hand it to Kelso. Kelso's going right side. He's got some room. He's got a first down, and he's finally tripped up at the 13-yard line. And now the flags come out, but this is after the play.
Again, it was something in the backfield, and it's going to be a
personal foul against the Colonels. Wow.
And that'll be tacked on to the end of the run.
That is not good news for Altavista. You know, I'm sure the Colonel players weren't happy because they saw the movement in Appomattox's backfield early that wasn't called. I'm guessing that's probably what they were talking about, and then the official doesn't like them talking back, so they throw the flag on them. So Kelso picked up the necessary first down yardage, which was about 9, and then give them about 15 more. That puts Appomattox on the other side of the 50. They're on the Altavista side of the 50. They'll start from the 47-yard line. But Altavista wants to take a timeout to talk things over. We'll take a timeout with them. 8:32 remains in the football game. Altavista on top, 28-13.
Installing atrium vinyl replacement windows is like an investment in your home that can begin to pay dividends right away. You can save up to 30% or more on your home's heating and cooling costs. Add to your home's equity and add to its value by upgrading its looks and energy efficiency. Custom crafted atrium vinyl replacement windows. Invest in your home's future with English's.
English's is your complete home center.
Business 29, Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
28-13 from Bragg Stadium. The visitors lead. They're the Altavista Colonels. But the Appomattox Raiders seem to have things going their way now, Oscar.
Yeah, with 8:32, like you said, 28-13, and Appomattox clearly has the momentum. The Colonels look a little bit frustrated, a little flustered. Coach Shawn just called that timeout, I'm sure, to get them back under control. And again, he wanted them to play with a chip. They've certainly played with a chip tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely a fine line between playing with a chip on your shoulder and getting all these personal foul penalties. Shotgun formation for the Appomattox Raiders. Throw is incomplete. They completely switched it up there. They had gone under center all night. Then they go from a shotgun formation. Ends up being incomplete. Maybe they're trying to catch the Colonels by surprise coming out of the timeout. Sets up 2nd and 10, though.
And Appomattox still hadn't had a completion tonight.
No, they hadn't, and that's hard to believe because Edwards throws a really good ball. Let's see if they go from shotgun again. They do. 4 wide receivers, 1 back in the backfield with Edwards, and that is Kendall Blankenship. They're going to pass again all day for Edwards to throw. He does throw. This is knocked away by Tim Ron Brown. Great play by Tim Ron Brown.
Yeah, what a break with Tim Ron. ball was on the money. He broke and was able to stick his left hand out and deflect the ball. Great play by Tim Ron.
Excellent, excellent play. We've called Tim Ron's name a lot, deservedly so, with plays like that. Sets up 3rd and 10. Edwards had just all day to throw, and he throws an absolute bullet, left-handed, a lot like Michael Vick with the quick release, kind of a short arm action.
It really looks like Vick throwing it.
Shotgun formation again. This time it's balanced, 2 receivers on each side. Running back is to his left. Thornhill is about 12 yards deep at safety. See if he gets in on this one. Edwards is going to run. Had some room up the middle initially, but he's cut down. Gained about 5.
Boy, B.G. Malbeck squaring off with another player from Appomattox on the other side of the field.
Yeah, you just got to avoid that extracurricular stuff if you're Altavista. There's really no excuse for it at this point. Maybe you can excuse one, but after you've already gotten one, you got to cut it out. Tackle was by Destin Brown. Good play. Appomattox going for it on a 4th and 6 here, Oscar. This is pretty big.
Yeah, it is with 7:50 remaining. This is a big play for the Colonels.
If they can get a stop here, you got to feel good about your chances if you're Altavista. Shotgun snap. They're going to run an option left. Pitches it to Blankenship. Blankenship hit hard by Juan Thornhill. Does not get the first down. Juan really went low and hit Blankenship in the thigh pads at the 40-yard line, and that was about 3 yards short. Great tackle right there. Good play by Altavista, because if Juan didn't get him, he had some help coming.
And Juan's got a little bit of an altered gait right now. I think he got a little bit dinged up earlier in the half, and we hadn't called his name a lot on defense here in the third or fourth quarter. But that certainly was a huge play.
That was big. If he is hurt, he summoned something up right there when he needed it for a big play. But, you may be right, Oscar, because it seems like in the second half, particularly in this fourth quarter, Juan really hasn't been as effective as a runner as he normally is. So maybe he is a little dinged up, like you said. Thornhill looks like he's going to go under center here. 7:39 remains. Altavista up 2 scores. They're up 15. Got a tight end and an I formation. Hand it to Daquan Myers, the fullback. Myers can't even get started. Can't get out of the backfield before he is hit. Man, the Raiders have been in the backfield all night, Oscar.
Boy, Colin, I don't know if you picked up on that. Stetson was calling for the ball when Daquan was wrapped up, and Daquan started to pitch it to him. Scared the Jesus out of me.
Yeah, that's one of those plays that works fine in the backyard, but don't pull it out on Friday night. 2nd and 14 now. Daquan Myers, like I said, as soon as he got that ball, was hit. He never got a chance to get started. Colonel's going to go from the same formation. East and Demetrius Johnson are the wideouts. Cody Andrews is the tight end. Offset I formation. Hard snap count by Thornhill. And it looks like it's going to draw Appomattox offside. They do step this off against the Raiders.
We've seen several talented quarterbacks this year. Rosser, Edwards tonight. I don't think we've seen anybody that's as good on that hard count as Juan is.
Yeah, I agree with you. Altavista is so good at that. And a big part of it is Juan Thornhill.
And great discipline by the offensive line to not move on that as well.
Yeah, play gets in a little late. But Thornhill's under center again, turns, hands it to Destin Brown. Brown's going to try left tackle. He's not going to get much. Might have got back to the line of scrimmage. Give him a few feet, I guess. It's going to turn it into a 3rd and 9. Clock keeps moving, and that's the most important thing right now for the Colonels. They lead 28-13. Clock will be under 6 minutes when this ball is finally snapped. It's 6:05 right now. And Altavista is taking some time getting the play in from the sideline. A first down here, I'm not going to say would end it, but would really help things.
Appomattox, I think they've got 2 timeouts left. No, they've got 3. They've got 3 timeouts left, so they'll be able to stop the clock some.
Raiders a little late getting their defense set up, but now they're ready to go. Tight end to the right, I formation. Thornhill is going to bootleg out to his right. Now he wants to throw. He's got East, but the pass was low. One of the rare miscues that Thornhill has made with an open man tonight. That pass falls incomplete.
But great job by East coming back to Juan. Juan did a good job of eluding the rush. Brings up 4th and 8. Colonels are going to have to punt.
Good stop there by the Raiders, and they got one when they needed it. 5:37 remains in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter brought to you by Apple Markets of Altavista. Raiders shuffling a bunch of personnel on and off. Colonels are in that punt formation. Andrews has had to punt once, and it was a good one. Looks like the snap is ready. It's a good snap right to Andrews' way. Appomattox was coming after it, and they got it away. It's fielded by an up guy. Big tackle right there from Timron Brown. It saved a lot of yardage. Flag comes out late. I think Cody Andrews got hit. They're going to call unnecessary roughness on Appomattox if what I saw was correct.
It had to be after the play. That ball was tipped, I think, on the punt.
Yeah.
But I was looking at field. They're calling personal foul against the Raiders.
Yeah.
Huge.
Well, Timron Brown made another great tackle. It seems like he's had about 30 of them tonight. I'm sure he's had at least a dozen. And after he made the tackle, somebody blocked Cody Andrews. But you're right. The punt was tipped. Andrews barely got it away. And it was fielded by someone who's not the return man for Appomattox. So they end up losing some yards after the penalty. They'll start on the 36-yard line. Near side hash mark. Fans on both sides have been vocal. Not the biggest crowd we've seen all year, but definitely a vocal one. Raiders are in love with this shotgun formation now. They've got tripped to the right. Here comes the shotgun snap. It's a good one. Edwards wanted to throw left. Now it's taken away. He had to pump fake, and he's wrapped up by number 10, Darius Johnson, on the sack.
Boy, they tried that little pass out in the flats, and Timron and Michi both jumped both receivers. He tried pumping. They jumped the route. He tried pumping again. They stayed, and great. That was a coverage sack.
Absolutely. Timron Brown in on a play again, even though he doesn't make the sack. Good job by Darius Johnson. Sets up second and real long.
Awesome 9.
Yep.
And the clock continues to run under 5 minutes at 4:53.
Absolutely. If Edwards could have thrown that ball away, he would have saved the yardage and the clock. Shotgun formation again, receivers to both sides. He's got some time to throw. Now he pump fakes and gets flushed out. Edwards has got some speed. He's across the line of scrimmage. Brought down on the left sideline there by Destin Brown. It's a pickup of 8. I think he stayed in bounds. He did. 4:30. Clock continues to roll. Now the clock is really the enemy of the Raiders here.
And you got to wonder at some point, are they going to start to use those timeouts?
Yeah. If you're Altavista, Oscar, I think if you can just keep them in bounds, even if they gain yards, just don't give up the touchdown gain. Don't give up any really long plays. 3 receivers to Edwards left. Shotgun formation again. He's going to throw left, little swing pass. It's hit the hands of Chicago Ferguson and then drop.
And that's unusual for Chicago.
Yep.
We've seen him play basketball for several years now, and his stats this year in football are outstanding, and he's got great hands.
Yeah. Tough play right there. It was a screen play designed to go to Ferguson. Don't know if he would have been able to get the first down or not. Stops the clock at 4 minutes and 1 second. Altavista on top, 28-13. 4th down on the way for Appomattox, and what you probably got to believe is the game if they don't pick it up. You never know, but you got to believe that they have to get this one here. Shotgun formation again. Edwards is back to throw. Got some time, throws across the middle. It's caught by Ferguson. Ferguson had to wrestle away from Easton. Now he's trying to pick up some more yards. He's all the way down to the other 40. A big gain there. 26-yard pickup by Ferguson, making up for the last one he just dropped and then some.
And great coverage by East. East jumped that and just missed it. Just missed knocking the ball down.
I don't know what else East could have done. It was a great play by Ferguson.
And a heck of a pass by Edwards.
Yeah, it was a bullet. I mean, I think East had at least one hand on the football, but Ferguson had 2, and he was able just to wrestle it away from him. Pump fake short. Now they're going to go long. Got a man streaking down the left sideline. It's incomplete. They were looking for Cole Jamerson, and the flag comes out late as Jamerson got pushed after the ball already went by. But I don't know, Oscar. This is going to be a personal foul again on Altavista. I don't know that this one. I don't know. We'll just leave it at that.
That's right.
We'll just leave it at that. It's a big break for the Appomattox Raiders because they're going to get 15 free yards out of this.
both East and Thornhill were in hot pursuit, good coverage, and East pulled up a little bit and fell down, and when he did, he was trying to catch himself. He pushed the Appomattox player. Tough break.
It is a tough break. And again, the ball was overthrown.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds. Everybody was running towards the sideline, and I think, like you said, East kind of stumbled a little bit. He put his hand on Jamerson to stable himself, and Jamerson ends up going down. It looks like a push. Screen play coming here on first down is incomplete. Good pressure from Darius Johnson again. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those plays where I don't think East had any intention of pushing him down. It's just Jamerson's momentum was already kind of going down, and East put the hand on him.
3:27.
Scoreboard's got a little bit of a hiccup. Now we're back.
It's being controlled from Tulsa.
I know. 28-13. 2nd and 10 on the way. We'll talk about that last play again in here in a second. Officials are going to blow a whistle here and not let this play get going. I think if you don't have some of those other personal fouls earlier, Oscar, they probably don't call that one on Altavista either.
And if it's on, yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
I think that's a good point.
Some of that is a byproduct of what happened before. 2nd and 10 now, shotgun formation again. Edwards goes to Ferguson. It's a screen play out here. Brown got him wrapped up, and the cavalry came in after the fact. But Brown, wow, he just got off the block again and made a big stop.
And clock continues to run as they untangle.
Well, I know that we said we're not going to do the player of the game. But I can tell you right now, if we had one, it was Timron Brown is probably the guy right now.
That's certainly who it would be for me.
Under 3 minutes to go in the game. 3rd and 6 now, 28-13. Altavista on top. Appomattox driving, though, but they got to hurry. Shotgun formation. They hand it off to Blankenship. Blankenship is driving for yards. He might have got the first down. He was hitting the backfield. Flag came out early. Then a second flag came out late, and now we're going to have to wait and see again.
The initial flag was a hold.
I agree.
Backfield.
I agree with that. Second flag, though, might be the one that burns the Colonels again. Let's see. No, this one's a personal foul on Appomattox. And you know how it is in these games, Oscar. When you get a lot of personal fouls, it's not always one team.
Well, that's right. And you know, a lot of times it's the second person that gets caught as well.
Right. Not the kind of stuff you want to see if you're a coach. And it's not anything, again, it's not anything really malicious. It's not like punches are getting thrown out there. I think it's just words and a push here or there after the whistle. And the officials are trying to cut it out. Both of these are going to go against Appomattox, and this might doom their comeback efforts.
And if the Colonels decline to hold, take the other penalty, it'll bring up 4th down.
And I believe that's what they've done.
And that's obviously a smart play by Sharner.
Yep. Going to set up 4th and 16. Left hash mark, 31-yard line. Raiders are running out of time. 2:37 remaining in the football game. Edwards throws, and it's incomplete. That'll be a turnover on downs. There are no flags on the field this time. Altavista will take over, and it looks like they can finally breathe a little sigh of relief here. Now they've just got to hold on to the football.
Yeah, with 2:34, again, Appomattox has 3 timeouts. They can use those timeouts to stop the clock. But then they've got to score. Onside kick, get the ball back again.
Yeah.
It's going to take a miracle.
Yeah. If they were only down 1, we would definitely be saying different things, and we'd be talking about how much this game is still in doubt. But now down 2 scores, Appomattox is really in trouble here. They got to get out to this to punt the ball and got to not take a lot of time doing it. Colonels didn't have all their offensive players in there, and now I think the Colonels are going to have to burn a timeout, and they are. Didn't have the right personnel, so they'll take a timeout. We'll take one with them. 2:34 remains in the football game. Altavista on top, 28-13 on 105.5 KD Country.
Enjoy daily lunch specials priced under $4 at El Cazador Restaurant. The people that first brought Mexican food to the area. Open all afternoon Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. Come by for Mexican or American food, all reasonably priced with drink specials and great service too. Voted best Mexican restaurant, El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, Main Street in Altavista. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant thanks you for your loyalty and your business and congratulates the Colonels on their winning season. And don't forget to stop by for the return of Little Elvis this Tuesday night. You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
28-13. 2:34 remains in this football game. Altavista has just taken over. On downs, they've got a first down from their own 31-yard line. I think, Oscar, they can get one first down. That'll pretty much do it. But if they can't do that, then Altavista's still got a little bit of life left in them.
But, well, you talk about getting the one first down. The Appomattox defense has been strong in the second half, and Colonels have not been able to run the ball very well outside of that one long 80-yard run.
Handoff goes to Destin Brown. Brown's hitting the backfield. Let's see if the timeout comes. It does. Quick timeout from Appomattox after the stop there. It was a loss of 4. We'll keep it right here for this one because I think Appomattox is going to end up calling another timeout here in a second. And that play only ran off 4 or 5 seconds, Oscar. So that's good news for an Appomattox side.
If they can force the Colonels to punt.
Yeah. Again, I think if you're Altavista, if you just hold on to the football, then you do feel pretty good about things. But that being said, if you run the ball again and get stopped, that's only another 4 or 5 seconds. If you run it again on third down and get stopped, that's only another 4 or 5 seconds. So you're looking at, it's 2:29 right now to go in this game. You're looking at punting it away at maybe 2:15.
From deep in your own territory.
From deep in your own territory. And Cody Andrews just barely got off the last punt because Appomattox was coming after it. This is, what I'm saying is we still got a football game here.
That's right. And Dustin, he ran that ball very defensively. He covered it. He had it wrapped up. He was not looking for a hole. He was trying to gain some positive yards and hang on to the football.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of times, in these situations, even when you're up, it becomes tough because you lose your aggressiveness. That's just human nature to try and hold on. 2nd and 11 now. Colonels have got a tight end, a wing back, and one setback is Destin Brown. They pitch it to him. Brown's going to go left side. He's got a man around his shoulder pads and his jersey there, and he's not brought down, but he's run out of bounds, and the progress is stopped. They're going to say he's not out of bounds. The clock keeps running, so Appomattox will burn the timeout. We'll take this one with 2:17 to go in this football game. Altavista just trying to hold on here, up 2 scores, 28-13 on 105.5 KD Country.
A short drive will save you money.
That's right. A short drive can save you hundreds, maybe thousands. The absolute best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Have a trade? When you make a deal, Feller Chevrolet will pay it off, no matter how much you owe. Slow credit? Don't worry. Drive away today in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, if you didn't purchase your vehicle from Feller Chevrolet, you paid too much for it.
Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
2 minutes and 17 seconds left in this football game. Altavista up 15. But it's not over yet. And I think if and when Altavista does pull this one out, Oscar, we're going to look back and say this was one of the harder-fought victories they've had all year.
Oh, and we certainly expected that coming in. But after jumping after that 21-0 lead, Appomattox has outplayed Altavista.
Absolutely. Shotgun formation is what Altavista is going to operate out of. Got a bunch of guys to the left side. Thornhill will go up the middle. He had a hole initially, and he's cut down by a linebacker. Gained about 1. Appomattox is letting the clock run this time. They're going to keep a timeout in their pocket. It's 2:05 to go in the game. It's going to run down under 2 minutes. It's going to bring up 4th and 13. Now they call the timeout. Let's keep it right here. You lose about 10 seconds there after not calling it initially, Oscar.
But if you watch football over the last 3 or 4 years, clock management has become a lost art. It seems like just at all levels, high school, college, and even the pros, that the clock management's not near as sharp as it was 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, it's It's hard to say. When they let it run, I thought maybe they're just going to keep a timeout in their pocket so they'd have one on offense. Maybe if you get sacked or something, then you get a timeout you can use. But then they ended up calling a timeout. Clock just got under 2 minutes. It's 1:59.
And if you do save one, you've got that option of running a play across the pass play across the middle. You're not just limited to getting it to the outside and getting out of bounds.
Right. So the percentages here are still pretty low for Appomattox. No timeouts. 1:59 to go. They're down 28-13. Altavista will punt it away, 4th and long. Now, I say the chances are low. If Appomattox can block this kick or return it for a touchdown, then all of a sudden their chances are greatly improved. They'd still have to get an onside kick, but you just never know. Snap's perfect to Andrews. He did not get a good kick. It rolled. I don't know if it hit an Appomattox player or not, but it was behind the line of scrimmage. Now they're going to pick it up. They acted like they were going to knock it dead. He's pushed out of bounds by Darius Johnson. Good play right there by Darius to save the touchdown. But Appomattox has got great field position. They're going to start on, it looks like, the 12-yard line of Altavista. Odd play.
It looked like he almost totally missed it.
Yeah. Andrews has been steady as they come on the punting game so far this year, but that one was by far one of his worst. And we'll see what happens. He had some pressure coming again. You can't blame it all on Cody, that's for sure. Shotgun formation. Edwards wants to throw. He goes over the middle. He's got a man complete. Stays in bounds, though. He didn't get the touchdown. Clock's going to stop initially to move the chains here because he did pick up about 11. 1:42 to go. When they start it, when they spot the football, the clock's going to run again. 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. Left hash mark. Appomattox is trying to steal one here down 2. Going to the end zone. It's complete. He's got Ferguson, I believe, for the touchdown on the slant pattern. Wow. You talk about seeing some strange things in a football game, Oscar. You can cross off a bunch of them tonight. Appomattox is not out of this football game with 1.5 minutes to go. They trail 28-19. Are they going to go for 2 here or kick it here? It looks like they're going to kick it here.
And I think that's the right decision.
Yeah, they're down 15, so they're going to have to get a 2-point conversion somewhere just to tie.
They're down 9.
Yeah, well, they're down 9. They're going to fake it. Blankenship throws, and it's incomplete. The receiver had his hands on it, and it got knocked away, and that might spell the end for Appomattox there. 28-19 after the touchdown, the missed extra point.
Somebody from Altavista, one of the defenders, got their hands on it, deflected it, and still a great play by the receiver. He had it until he hit the ground.
Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff all night. 28-19 Altavista leads. Quick timeout here. 1.5 minutes remaining in this football game on 105.5 KD Country.
Accidents happen. When your windshield is chipped, come to Apple Auto Glass, 2429 Ford Avenue. They'll repair your chip for $39.95. In shop, only $39.95. Apple Auto Glass and Mirrors, 2429 Ford Avenue, Lynchburg. Give them a call at 846-2753, 846-2753. That's 846-2753. Apple Auto Glass, proud sponsor of Altavista Sports. Football is a tradition, and so is Apple Auto Glass. Go Colonels.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
1 minute and 36 seconds remains in this football game. Altavista up 28-19. They're up by 9, which is important. It makes it a 2-score game here because Appomattox is getting ready to try the onside kick. If Appomattox had completed that 2-point conversion, which was ever so close, and then got this onside kick back, then all of a sudden they have a chance to tie or even win if they go for 2 again.
You know, from the very start of this second half, this has been one of the most disjointed, non-flowing games I've ever seen.
Odd football game. I mean, Appomattox went under center, split back veer for 3.5 quarters, and then they completely ditched that and go from the shotgun spread. They get a touchdown out of it on that last one there with Edwards to Chicago Ferguson. Edwards has 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown.
And a nice onside kick last time from Jamerson.
Yeah. catch and hauled it in. They're going to go with the onside kick in a bunch formation this time. Ball's bouncing around. East had it initially and then lost it. This is anybody's guess. That ball was loose for a long time.
I'm going to say Demetrius Johnson came up.
Yeah, there's a big pile there. It still might be loose. No signals yet from the officials. And they do signal now Altavista football, so that's big. East had it initially, and then it went to the ground again.
Not sure who came up with it, but
yeah. Well, that time Appomattox went from a bunch kick formation where they had all 11 guys in a tight area. They kick it straight ahead, and it's 11 guys just running down there after on a mad dash.
And they can't stop the clock, so.
No, this will do it now. Altavista just has to take 2 or 3 knees, and it's all over with. Make sure they don't fumble or have any kind of miscues like that, penalty-wise. Thornhill's looking over the defense. He's going to get under center. He does, takes the knee. And wow. I mean, a game that just had a little bit of everything, Oscar. And like you said, nobody, including us, could get into a rhythm in the second half.
Yeah, and don't think they can totally run the clock out here, Kyle.
Wow. Well, I mean, I guess you could do the old thing where you have your quarterback run around in the backfield for a little while and run off time that way.
They're gonna use a timeout here, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Under a minute to go now. They're in the victory formation. 3 backs behind Thornhill. Another knee.
And Juan is quick to drop to that knee. He may be better. Might be better served standing there for 3 or 4 seconds.
Right.
But he's talked to the back judge, and he's signaling on the count from him. So
yeah. Well, now we're under 30 seconds. So when they snap this one, even though it'll be 4th down, they won't have to snap it again. It's going to be a Colonel victory. And again, one of the hardest fought ones we've seen all year. There's the final kneel down. The teams are assembling along the 50-yard line. Colonels get a win here, Oscar. We'll wrap it up on the Subway postgame show. Altavista, a winner on the road at Appomattox, 28-19. Quick time out here and back with the Subway postgame show on 105.5 KD Country.